What is going on? That was a gotcha title. So, okay, Bill, do you want to go ahead and take over? I'll let Bill go ahead and take over for me. Oh man, this is what happens when I don't warn them boys and girls that we're coming in hot. But yeah, it is. You know, PP in space, man. We are we are out there. Welcome
The
in.
question is, if you PP in space, does it just kind of float around there and like get everywhere? That sounds like a safety and a cleanliness hazard.
Definitely.
My fear is I'm really a big fan of yellow Jello. So if I pee-peed in space and didn't, you know, you're eating yellow Jello, like would you all of a sudden
Oh God.
eat a pee-pee ball?
Probably.
Yellow chunks.
Anyway, welcome to episode 96.
Why are we like this?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
why
My
are we
wife said
fucking
she
like
wanted to
this?
talk about more realistic, down-to-earth things, so I figured pee-pee in
Right,
space.
but we're
is-
So
not done with it right
naturally,
now.
naturally,
We're not
we're
done
going to
yet.
talk
We're already
about
started.
yellow globs.
Yes, yellow globs. Well, it's okay
Yes.
because our brand new official sponsor of the podcast, Gaming Cup of Noodles. And if you're watching us live, you can see that beautiful image right on screen.
Look at that.
Gaming Cup of Noodles.
No, let me get that.
Dude.
Anyway,
I wish, man. Give me a cup of that.
Gaming cup of noodles. What it really is it's just a cup of noodles full of RGB strips that
Is
you
it?
plug in before you
Dude,
eat.
what-
that means
it's
that means my
caffeinated.
company's gonna start
Yeah,
throwing.
man.
Yeah.
Here's a better question: would you guys actually buy that? Would you legitimately buy it and eat
No.
it and try it?
What?
I love
would- no,
cup
I would
noodles
try
in
it.
general. I would try it. Yeah. Yeah.
You think it tastes like
Bill.
that?
It would,
'Cause
it would probably make your
Bill.
poop glittery.
Bill,
What?
Bill, you're a nutritional expert, and you're going to eat cup of noodles.
Listen, sometimes you just want sometimes you just want some salt, you want some MSG, it's a comfort food, okay? I'm not saying
You
eat it
want
every
you
day.
want
exactly.
cardboard, wet cardboard with salt and MSG. That sounds great.
Yeah. The question for you guys is what should our whenever we do get that cup noodle sponsorship, what should our flavor be? Because I mean,
Ooh.
it's
PP
kind of hard to
in space.
advertise.
Hello.
PP in space, yeah.
It's hard to
yeah.
advertise PP flavor noodles.
Maybe, man. Look, dude, the Japanese and the Japan culture is some real weird stuff. You can get octopus flavored ice cream. So I think PP flavored noodles.
Squid ink and octopus ink is actually like
No,
really
no,
good
no, no,
for you
no.
too.
I'm not talking about ink. I'm talking about actual fucking like
Like
octopus.
squid, like
Like there's
Mm.
legitimate squid in chunks inside the ice cream. So
I'll try
I-
anything once.
yeah.
yeah,
Maybe.
sure. So I think PP in space, cup of noodles is probably not that far fetched.
Fair enough. Fair
yeah.
enough.
All right, well, let's get on that
I just-
sponsor. Okay.
I remember though the worst one that I've ever ran into was cow placenta tea.
Cow placenta tea.
Tea,
What?
yeah. Yeah.
Delicious.
Wait, you
I
read
don't
And
know.
you
it
ran into
smelled.
this?
Yeah. When I was doing installation and delivery, we
You
installed at
consensually
a
tried
house.
this?
I did not try it. No, we were installing at a house, and we were like pulling all the stuff out of the ladies' the cupboards, and we saw that, and there was just this horrid
Ugh.
fucking smell in the house, and I can
Yeah.
only assume
I
that's
can
what that
assume why.
was.
A
Yeah.
lot of iron in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, maybe the theory behind it's pretty solid, but I don't know. I couldn't. I
Maybe.
bet that-
The
I
only
could-
thing I
I-
can
I
think
would
of
never
is
have
for
been able to
like
drink that.
immunotherapy like reasons. Like there's a lot of like immune system boosters in that. So
That's so gross.
I'll
I'm still
pass.
not putting it. I will say though,
Yeah.
there's a TikTok trend or a YouTube short trend because I'm not on TikTok, but a YouTube short trend of taking Sprite and lemon or Lipton iced tea bags with a little bit of lemon and putting it in. I thought it was bullshit. I actually tried it. It's actually really good. I don't like tea.
that's
Wow.
that doesn't sound bad at all. Actually,
There was another weird trend. It's just onion water.
Onion water.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
just that's
Onions-
called
onions
that's
and
called
water.
soup. What are you talking about?
that's just
no,
that's
but
just
it's
that's just
literally
Shrek's
raw
pee.
onions
That's
just in water. I think
That's
some
just
people add
Shrek's pee.
sugar too.
that's better
That's
than the trend I've been seeing with people just going into WalMarts with baseball bats and smashing display
Yep.
TVs for no
Yeah,
good goddamn
dude.
reason.
Well, I can't get Doja Cat off of mine. The paint the town red. That's all I have is paint it red. That's all I see. So anyway, episode 96 of the Pre-Patch Podcast. How are you guys all doing? As you can tell, we've got the full crew here. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know, as the title says, PP in space, we're going to be talking a lot about space, Starfield, No Man's Sky, all the starry stuff. So it's going to be a great show. On top of that, we've got a lot of news to cover with each one of the platforms, as well as some gaming news and some pretty decent quick hits that we're going to talk about too. So it's going to be a great show, and I'm excited to kind of get to it. Yeah. Everybody thinks there's gonna be some spice. We'll let it sit there for a little bit as whether or not it is super spicy or not.
Simmer.
100% gonna be spice, bro.
You never know. But
There's
anyway,
always
we went into the freaking topic with you being like, I'm gonna leave it
because I do want to save it for the show. I'm just saying. All right.
Okay.
Twitch. Let's talk about Twitch. One of the platforms that we are on. So one of the new things that they just dropped was that their stream analytics experiment is now gone live, and it is studying trends over the next 7 to 28 day period. It views data based on times to stream, more recent and more views, or to reach more views. And you can filter it by category. This is kind of what it looks like here, and it basically is a new analytics thing. But I think didn't they drop the one to the left? I thought they said that they weren't going to do this one here with the one
The times to go live.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
You mean drop it as in like can't not
not
out
show
with
it, because I've seen that this came out, and then I thought that I've seen some posts that said that this was not actually.
I don't know. I
gonna
don't
be there.
see really the viability in it because I'm curious what metric they're using to determine when.
They're using
Like-
global like viewership numbers and more about like when
Oh, are
people
they
are
using
watching.
You would
global
think
and
they
it's
would
not-
need to.
Is it
They
not
would go for like
per
prime
streamer?
saturation time because like you can have like the peak amount of viewers at these highlighted times, but then also like if there's a ton of streamers on that time, it kind of defeats the purpose.
So
Well,
it's
And then
supposed
like what
to-
Scruffy's saying, if I don't know if it's personalized
think
or
it-
if this is
I
like
think
this is-
generalized
this is
or
what I
like
was
your
wondering.
genre.
I'm pretty sure this is a personalized thing. So this is actually it's taking your views, your stuff, your analytics,
saying
and telling
when
you
the best time is.
this
to
is when it's
stream.
supposed to go live, right?
Right.
Okay. From
Well,
what I
who the hell is that going to help? Because if you're not streaming all the time, then like it's obviously going to recommend.
right,
Oh, you stream for 3 hours from 10:30 p.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Well-
You should stream at 10:30 p.m. to 12:30
Because
p.m.
it doesn't
Good
know
job,
what,
you're
what
doing
your
great.
analytics are
Yeah.
during the other hours of the
Well,
day. Yeah, I guess. I
think
don't know.
that's
Like how
the
many
kind of
people
argument-
realistically do like 12+ hour streams or like long day streams?
I mean,
Not anymore.
yeah, not. I mean, not unless people that
Unless
are like
they're
I
full
said,
time.
right? Or they have no life, and that's all they. Like, again, not knocking you, but if you have no other outside commitments, you're single or whatever else. Like, yeah, you know, like I have a wife and kids and a family. I can't just sit down and stream for
Shame on you.
13 hours.
Be there
How
for
dare you,
the-
sir.
be there for all of us.
Yeah,
Sin.
right. But I think that's what a lot of people on here are kind of complaining about, is kind of being like, hey, yeah, this is a really cool feature, but you like kind of shoehorned it into this. Well, it's a personal data feature. Well, I mean, I could
It's
go to
interesting to see
Sully
that you
Sully
can
Gnome and do it.
exclude large streamer data.
Right.
What pertains, like, what is a large streamer for Twitch? Are they gonna like say like people with 1,000+ viewers?
Well,
500 plus,
The standard, the industry standard is anybody over 1,000 CCV
Over 1,000
considered
is a large
larger
streamer.
Right. Anybody underneath that
Okay.
is considered a mid tier to affiliate level streamer. So
That's pretty interesting to see them have that option.
I mean, what I will say is that this to me is at least step in the again another forward momentum step of saying, hey, we want you to be able to use our platform in the most effective way. Again, I mean, there's reasons behind it, right? They want this to be more effective for you because that in turn is more effective for them. How many eyeballs are getting seen on ads and all of that kind of stuff. So it's there's obviously hidden,
Yeah.
but there's no reason to fault them for it. But I think that this is at least a positive direction. I don't know. Again, like Bill's
I guess
saying,
it's better than nothing. It's just so YouTube has this exact same thing, but the reason it works for YouTube is because your video is up 24/7, so you can see when your peak viewership actually hits these videos and whatnot.
yeah,
With this, it's so hard to justify like a time frame for somebody or suggest a time frame for somebody based on their
That's-
data alone. That's
why
if you go
that's
for
why
a
I was pushing more towards like it might be implementing like global data where it's looking at what you stream, what your niches are, what your viewers might be watching, and then it's correlating that data with the global data that it has on stream,
If that's
on
the
file
case,
for other people.
If that's the case, this is amazing because that's some like highly refined analytics that I
Yeah.
haven't seen from Twitch at all.
I mean,
Period, yeah.
this is saying here like time to stream, average if you're average viewers per channel, the higher the number is, the better for your chances for discovery may be when streaming during that time.
Yeah. So that's
So
why I'm
I
saying
don't.
I'm thinking that it's global right there. Like it's pulling the average viewers per channel in whatever category that you're streaming into, and then it's displaying what the best time would be for you to stream for that specific data point.
But
Gotcha.
I'm curious
I
though, if
am.
I don't know,
Go
if
ahead.
everyone follows that dynamic of it, then
Well, it's going to
it,
skew the
it
number.
it's gonna oversaturate those times and those peak times. Everyone's gonna be
will,
streaming
yeah.
during those times. So
I mean, if you can.
the categories are gonna be oversaturated at that point. So you might as well not. I mean, not use it, but I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, like, it's still gonna benefit you to not go on the highest peak. I would
Well,
think, right?
I mean, well, yes and no, but I mean, at the same time too, like this is not common knowledge. I mean, we have
Yeah.
a follower of the channel, that's a big stream, or not a big streamer, but he's a streamer. Hey, if you're unfamiliar with Hey Tony, you can go check him out. But he, lived over in Germany, so he was streaming
Mhm.
German hours, but in the US, that was like middle of the day, which was his night, right? So his numbers drastically were increased. And when he came back to America, and we were like, hey, like, you need to be prepared, because as soon as you go back to those like your hours at night here, you're going to see those numbers drop. And sure enough,
Right.
like it happens. So, I mean, this part of it, like, yes, is cool, but at the same time, it's also common knowledge to say, like, hey, like, this is like during these hours, this is when it's going to be popular. What's the game here? I think they had like PUBG was this game, was the game. Yeah, it was like PUBG
Right.
Battlegrounds, which, I mean, this game's been dead for how long now?
It ain't dead.
It's not dead.
I mean,
Yeah,
dead
it
when you're
still- it
talking
still
about
has
a
one of the top player
viewership
bases.
perspective. I'm not saying. I'm
Maybe
talking about
from
from a
viewership.
viewer
We got
perspective.
14.9K
I'm gonna
viewers, man.
say-
I was gonna say
I'm gonna
it's still,
save you. I'm gonna save you all some time here. If you want good streaming hours, do it in the morning of whatever your time zone is, because nobody wants to wake up early to stream. So you'll be there for the people that are there, and you can get the jump on them.
I mean, I also think that the viability of streaming, like, yes, there are obviously peak hours when peak people are viewing and watching. But I think, to go off of what Scruffy is saying, is like, well, if the peak hours are going off of, I mean, obviously, if you can exclude large streamers, that's great. But the peak hours are going to be whatever the peak max people are going to be there. So I really don't know if to say that this is a really viable option for discoverability is true, because if everybody is streaming at that time, well, you're just pushed farther down the roster.
right. And
So-
but even if you exclude large streamers, those streamers are still can use these analytics too, and still be streaming during the same analytics that you're seeing, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're still gonna. It's not like you're going to find those times that those large streamers are not streaming, because they're still streaming at,
Yeah.
like, So I don't know.
I mean, again,
No, it's a good
it's
feature
a
to
cool
have,
tool.
You
Yeah,
know.
it's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how useful this would be in a live streaming platform. I think, like Bill's mentioning, from a YouTube perspective, yeah, absolutely. Like, if
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there are definitely times when
Best
YouTube
upload
videos are
times
best
and
upload and stuff like that. That's live video. That's VOD content. I don't know how that fits into here, because, again, I don't know. You could go live at 2 p.m. and blast off, and then you can go live at fucking 4 a.m. and get
Mhm.
the exact same. So anyway, it's just something that Twitch rolled out, so it's an interesting kind of thing. On the Kick side of things, Kick owner Stake reportedly got hacked and lost a grand sum of $41 million in cryptocurrency. Pretty big deal.
Huge.
Couldn't have
is,
happened to a better guy.
This is a big thing. Well, I mean, okay.
What was it? Their own personal funds, like from the company, or was this like user assets they got stolen?
It says various stake owners have since gone. Let's see. I'm reading this. As shared by CoinDesk, Stake suffered multiple suspicious transactions on September 4th and initially saw 16 million removed from the company's blockchain wallet.
Okay, so it was the company itself specifically.
Yeah, sounds
okay.
like.
yeah.
Then I don't care. As long as people aren't getting hurt by this, I don't care if the company goes under. That's just funny in my opinion.
I mean,
I mean, but if the company
still-
does go under, people are still getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that like I mean, I think this is still theft. Like, I don't give a shit
Yeah.
how you what your feeling is toward Kick or
Like
Stake or
gambling?
anything else. Huh?
Like online gambling?
Online gambling's not theft. If you're dumb enough to gamble, you're dumb enough to lose it or win it. I mean, that's
That's viewer error. Or user
that's
error.
your own
That's-
situation. I don't.
User error.
I mean,
Okay.
but I think anybody going in here and stealing something is I mean, it's still theft. Like, it's still wrong. Either way, like where I have a huge issue with this is this just continues to further the point that like current cryptocurrency is still unstable, right? Like, it's not I do believe that cryptocurrency is eventually the future of money transactions, stuff like that, but as you continue to see, like, this is just another reason as to why it's not there yet. So this ideology of moving everything to cryptocurrency or some type of Bitcoin or whatever else is just not going to work. But it is, I mean, regardless, like, no, am I sad that Stake, multi-billionaires got, lost some money when, $40 million to them is probably a drop in the bucket? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not shedding a tear for that, but I'm still shedding a tear in the fact that, it's still someone stole a bunch of shit, from somebody. Like, that's still not cool at all. So yeah.
I guess
so,
they won't be buying Dr. Disrespect even if they wanted to now.
no, I don't think so. I think that is on hold at the moment for that one. Onto the YouTube side of things. YouTube has got some new ad news coming out. So there's a couple different things. And Bill, you actually got the email, I believe, on this, correct? Like,
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
got
gonna
the
let
direct
you-
email. The email actually had a
talk
lot
about
more
it.
detail than what the community post was.
So I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk about it. Kind of go in depth on it because you know more
So
about it than I do.
YouTube's kind of overhauling the ad system. Some aspects they're taking away some things, some aspects they're adding some things. The goal from what they're saying is to streamline the process for VODs and make it a easier and less convoluted way of uploading. They brought up a bunch of statistics that people in the partner program to justify the reasoning. The biggest thing that I've seen going around on Twitter or X and other social medias is that they are removing features, which they are technically. They're removing the ability to choose pre-roll or post-roll, skippable or non-skippable ad types. If you choose to monetize your videos at this point, you will be opted into all of those options naturally. In the email I got, they showed a statistic, and it showed that most creators saw like a decent jump in ad revenue compared to minimal losses in viewership. I don't know what the sample size for this. They gave the time period, but they didn't give the sample size for it. But it was both for the pre and post roll and skippable and non-skippable on both. So they're saying the majority of people also are already like checking all of these boxes regardless.
Right.
So this
Yeah.
shouldn't affect the majority of people. This should just make the process of uploading a video quicker and easier. On top of this, they are giving you the same mid-roll options that you have, with an added one being thrown in where it kind of throws in YouTube suggestions, and then you can modify and shift those around or add to them as you see fit. So it's kind of that middle ground between like full manual putting them in or just automatically letting YouTube choose where to put them through. So
mean,
that's kind of neat too.
This isn't I don't know. This doesn't come to me as a big shock. I think this to some people maybe it did, but to me it doesn't, because this is just like what we've talked about. YouTube is wanting to get to a basically a machined, it's just done, like, it's making it easy. We upload content, they'll pick out thumbnails, they'll pick out ads, they pick out everything else, and just basically all we do is upload the content. I mean, eventually they're going to, and I think we've already kind of covered this, where they're going to start, they're toying around and starting to work with AI to basically cut up VODs into smaller segments,
Right.
to more digestible things. I mean, we just saw that that they're now, like I said, toying with thumbnails, where whether it's better to have your mouth open or closed or whatever, which I know sounds crazy, but it is a big deal in the
The
thumbnail
Mr. Beast
world. Like,
experiment was was pretty interesting in all honesty.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't see that. What was that experience?
So he's one of the people that's in the program for the thumbnail testing where you can upload 3 thumbnails per video and YouTube will like send them out, and whichever ones are getting the higher click rate, they'll start prioritizing that one.
Oh, so it's like Netflix.
Yeah, kind
That's
of like
what
that.
Netflix does. They pick out thumbnails per shows and movies that like pertain to the viewer.
Yeah, so he discovered through that his thumbnails where he was doing like the shocked open mouth face were getting less clicks than him just doing like a casual like smiling grin face in his thumbnail. So
Okay,
That
that's where
is-
that whole
So
Yep.
we need to not
Comparison
have
game.
this. We need to not have this kind of face on our thing. We need to have this kind of
Exactly.
face, right?
you
Or,
get
or,
it.
or more like
this is why you
this.
gotta watch a stream, guys.
Yeah.
You get it. Yep.
yeah, can
You
you
get
please
it.
can you please put your well, never mind. We're on YouTube as well. I can't say that. That face looks like you want to put something very cylindrical in it.
I do.
But
But the other thing that they brought in was for the live streaming experience, they're modifying how ads work on that as well. They're making
This
the
is where
creator
I got confused, I think, at first.
yeah.
Like
so,
I thought they were just straight up adding ads for all live streams, but no.
no. So that's always been an option. Like I can
For
go live.
partners.
I can go live right now if I hit choose to monetize while live. It will automatically do a pre-roll ad and then
Right.
it'll like inject mid-roll ads throughout it. That's if I choose. I have no control over that as of right now. Once this update goes through and I choose to monetize a live stream video, it will still do the pre-roll ad. That's going to happen regardless. But now it will tell me a minute in advance when it's planning on doing a mid-roll ad, and I can choose to delay that mid-roll ad to
That's
a later
what
point.
Twitch does, which I just found out. Like they
Yeah,
actually
they
let
just
you know
implemented
now.
that recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even remember them mentioning that they implemented that.
I don't
but-
remember
Yeah,
that
we
mentioning-
talked about it. We
Did
we
we?
talked we talked about it on
Really?
the podcast. Yeah.
Okay, well, I
it
must have
was the
missed that.
first I've seen of it since I have been streaming on Twitch a little bit again. And there was one night that I thought I was getting like a 5-minute ad, but it was Enigma delaying my ad for like 5 minutes. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
okay.
another thing. Mods are able to, anybody that has
So-
access to your channel dashboard is able to delay those ads for you. And then you can determine, like, you can just hit a button to, like, okay, we're going to go through with this ad now and stuff like that. So,
That's nice
Just-
because you can at least like have control of when that ad plays, and it's not going to always ruin like a key moment of a stream or something.
yeah, you're not going to miss a boss fight or
Sure.
a
yeah.
big conversation if you're an IRL streamer or anything like that. It'll,
I still think that these platforms need to do. Where was it you that was telling me about it on YouTube? Is this that update that they were thinking about putting ads in the chat for live stream now?
yeah,
I-
that was the last thing I
yeah.
was going to mention. They're getting
Yeah.
rid of the banner ads underneath the videos altogether. That one that like pops up and you have like the little tiny X to click on. They're getting rid of that. It's archaic. It only works on desktop. They see very minimal ad revenue being generated from that. So they are instead going to be doing a new display type of ad during live streams where the chat box itself is going to be where the ad is displayed.
Okay.
So you're not going to interrupt your stream at all.
That's
But
I honestly,
Because
the
that's
ad
what I
will
said
go up in
Twitch
the
should
chat.
do. I
Yeah.
said that like podcasts ago that Twitch should do that instead
Yeah.
of
They should,
in some of their
yeah.
ads. That's
Yep.
yeah. So seeing YouTube do that, I mean that's a good alternative to live
YouTube.
stream ads.
Yeah.
We want some kickback for that. That was our idea.
Exactly.
the
come
fuck?
on.
What the fuck,
now all they
YouTube?
need to do is make their chat actually like fun to use, and
Right.
we might be in business.
Yeah.
well, there you go. That is the platform news for the week. I know it seems like we are burning through this stuff fairly quickly, but there is a reason. It's because I foresee that the better half of
Why do you
probably
foresee?
close to maybe like 30 minutes to 45 minutes of time is going to be about Starfield. What I'll
Why
say,
is that, Sid?
I'm gonna.
Why-
Don't worry about it. We'll worry about it when we're about to get there. What I will tell everybody is that we will do our best to make sure that we do not talk about any spoilers. There won't be any. Let's just say this, like across the board, whenever we're talking about it, there won't be any kind of story beats that will be dropped outside of
I
anything.
haven't
else
even
that's sort
played
of
much of the
seen.
story.
Um,
That's not
yeah,
how I
me either.
played Bethesda games. I go off and do my
I did a
own
bunch
thing,
of
so
I did a bunch of side quests, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've done the main storyline outside of just like getting off the main the starter planet.
I'd
pretty
say
much.
I'd say they're pretty safe.
Yeah. So, just want to let everybody know, like this, we are going to be obviously be talking about Starfield. If you don't want to hear anything about Starfield, I would mute for a little while and come back. Or maybe we'll see you, go watch the patch notes and we'll see you guys next week, or whatnot. But we're going to spend the next little bit talking about Starfield because, well, that's what most of us, or at least half of us, have been playing this week. So Starfield launched last week for early adopters, anybody that wanted to spend $100 or $35 on the if you have Game Pass to get it, and then for anybody else that just either had Game Pass or pre-ordered it, got it this the 5th, the 5th.
Tuesday. Yeah.
So I know that Scruffy, Enigma, and myself have put time into it. Bill, I don't think you have not, correct?
No, I've watched a decent amount of it though. I'm too addicted to Armored Core to pick it up. So
Understand
Yep.
that. So yeah, I mean, since you guys have played it the most, I'm gonna let you guys kick off and kind of your guys' thoughts, especially because you guys are Bethesda fans. So have at it.
Definitely. Well, I can say that I am enjoying it so far. I went into Starfield. I mean, I have been a big proponent on Starfield before Starfield was even a thing. Like when I was playing Fallouts back when I was a kid, I always wanted a Fallout in space. And when it was announced that Starfield was being a thing, I was on board. The past years have made me a bit doubtful with, of course, the release of 76 and a few of other things that Bethesda has done since then. So I went into this a little hesitantly, but of course I still bought it because I'm a Bethesda shill. I will admit that.
Fucking Bethesda shill, bro. Look at this guy. Look at this guy over here.
To know that I own the game and I know that this is going to be a game that I play 5 years in the future to mod it again and enjoy it all over again. I am okay with that. I'm not just going to rent the game.
Access?
I did not buy the early access. I just waited till the 5th. I wasn't even there that weekend. So
Gotcha.
there was no reason for me to buy into the early access anyways. But dude, honestly, like I said, I went into it hesitantly, but thus far, I've been enjoying it. I have not, knock on wood, and ran into really any game breaking bugs. I've only seen a few visual bugs in some instances of like meshing and a few weird things like that, but that's just the Bethesda spice. They sprinkle that on all of their releases.
That's the Bethesda MSG, bro.
Yeah, exactly, man. I can definitely say like the optimization for PC could be a little bit better for lower end PCs. I mean, my PC is not
Todd
low
Howard
end.
said you should just get a better rig.
Yeah, but and even so, my PC is like not low end. It's about mid now. But still, I would like to see it a little bit better. And it would be released with a few features they did not release with. They didn't release with upscaling for anything but FSR2, which is AMD's upscaling. So they didn't have DLSS. They didn't have the Intel. I don't remember that one's called. But and they didn't release with FOV. So there's a lot of weird design choices that they decided to go and release this game without. But I
Correct
don't know.
me
I've
if
been
I'm wrong.
talking for a while,
76 didn't have FOV sliders whenever.
I don't think any
Bethesda
game,
game.
any
Bethesda's
Bethesda
released
game
with
has. I was
FOV
just hoping
sliders,
this
yeah.
would be the one, because
The reason they gave for it, Todd Howard actually, I think spoke about it at one point. I can't remember
Did he?
where he was on an interview or something, and they were asking about FOV sliders and accessibility and stuff, and he was like, "Well, the way that we have the camera right now, we feel is the best place for that camera to be to have the cinematic quality that we want in our games."
Yeah, I just feel like that's so
and
subjective.
it's
like a
fucking
cop-out.
cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a fucking
Exactly.
cop out
It's
because
more or
there's
less-
people
Like,
there's people like me that like
you get motion sickness.
great whatever you want to call me. I got a buddy, a Shadowr calls me a fisheye motherfucker. Because I have to have everything at like
Dude, I
120.
play on
But like
Quake,
if
bro.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. If I don't have anything
Yeah.
like near 100, I get headaches. I get migraines
Exactly.
because I just feel like I'm too close.
And
And
especially with
it just doesn't feel right.
with FPS like limitations and hiccups, like
Yep.
that makes it even worse. So Yeah, man, I wish they would have released with something like that. You know, for him to say that is definitely like it's subjective to the person.
It really is.
And that's why
yeah.
I was really hoping that this would be the one that they release it with, because what I can say is what I'm really impressed by is, dude, how the game feels and moves. Like,
It
this
does
is
feel
the
good,
first
man. Yeah.
game that Bethesda has released on the Creation Engine, because that engine we all know is
20-year-old engine.
god awful, man. I am impressed that they somehow like surpassed this barrier of this movement that they've had in all these past releases, where you're so one directional. Like, if you're running in one direction, it's so hard to steer in another direction. This one feels like I'm actually free, and I'm not, like, it's almost not skatey, but like, you know, I'm not locked in, like, to, you know, going just
Yeah.
one way.
I can,
You know,
I can really
mantling too, man. That's
yeah,
impressive.
I can agree with that, because like from what I've felt in the past, that was one thing that I always complained about with like Fallout 4, Fallout 3, 76 had it, you know, Morrowind, Skyrim,
All of them.
Oblivion, all of them had a really janky fucking movement system, but like this one does feel really smooth, like, and not even just in the movement, but like I feel like the camera,
Yeah.
when you're in the first person mode with a gun and everything like that, I feel like it doesn't feel as jittery, if that makes any sense.
Jittery as if there was always mouse acceleration.
Yeah,
They might have finally turned that off, because there's always been settings in the INI files that you could turn mouse acceleration off.
Yeah.
So I think this is the one that they finally just did it on default, which, thank God, man. It's about
it feels
time.
good. The
It
FPS,
does.
in my opinion, feels good. Now, granted, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like how it feels. I'm sure that Sin probably has that opinion. I'm not sure. You can tell me if I'm wrong on that one. But yeah, it doesn't feel like past Bethesda games, for sure.
Yeah.
So at least they've learned, and they've implemented at least some form of change into their 20-year-old fucking pathetic game
And I
engine
will say
that
they
they
really-
can't get rid of.
They made it pretty too. I'm very impressed with the amount of detail.
The fidelity, yeah, the graphical fidelity does
dude,
look a lot better, man.
I was honestly expecting it to look just like Fallout 4 all over again.
So
Just
was
in
I kinda,
space.
yeah.
It really was an expectation of mine going into it. But yeah, man, it's the onions have details. Have you seen? There's some really detailed onions in this.
What is it
game.
with you and fucking onions tonight, man? Like,
Yeah. It was last stream too.
Are you turning into an ogre? You got layers, bud?
just gonna pull out oh man.
But yeah, so that no, that's exactly my opinion of it is the exact same thing. Like I'm coming at it more from I would say less from an aspect of like looking at it as like a Bethesda game, and more looking at it as like a competent space exploration and or like space sim, if you want to look at it that way. Now, granted, let me preface this, right? I'm not at all stating that this is a competent space explorer or like a competent space sim. Okay. Let's get that straight right now. It is not a space sim. This is Skyrim with a space
Oblivion.
theme. Oblivion with a space theme, right? Like, this is by no means a space sim like Star Citizen, right? So when you come in, and I've known that from the start. You're never gonna get a space sim from Bethesda.
Now you
so
might
if
with
you can't,
mods.
you might with mods.
You might
and
with mods.
I'm excited to see what the modders can do, because I was looking at some of the mods today, and some of them do look extremely good. I'm really
Already,
excited
man.
to see what that has. Yeah, they've got like 700 pages, and the game's only been out for like a week and a half, dude. It's crazy. But just coming at it from an aspect of like, I've played Star Citizen, I've played No Man's Sky, I've played Elite Dangerous. I'm a big space sim fan. I'm a big space RPG fan in general, right? I've played X Foundation. I've played a bunch of those. Coming at it from that, like, it's competent. It's decent. Like, they didn't do a terrible job. Yeah,
there's
like,
a thing between space RPG and space sim. Like, it's not going to be that uber realistic like space simulator, you know.
For sure.
It's gonna just be more story, which is all Bethesda games. That's what
I
they do
equate it.
thrive.
I equate it more to like a space, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like yeah, just like a Morrowind in space. It's more arcadey than like a space sim would ever be, right? But they do
Yeah.
have little aspects of a space sim that I'm really impressed about. There was a situation that happened earlier this week where I think it was we were talking about it before, where a Sony spokesperson or a Sony worker was kind of dicked on for saying anything good about the game, right? So they kind of like made her, they were really angry with her and were like asking for her to be fired.
That's
She did
ridiculous.
like a 7-hour stream just to see if you could actually go from like a planet to what was it? Was it Pluto?
It was to Pluto,
Or
like
just any planet, right?
flying to
Just
another
fly
planet
from one planet
without
to
any
another planet without
jumps
any
or
stopping
anything.
or
Yeah.
jumping or quick loading or anything like that. And she found out that you can actually do that. The problem
Mhm.
with it is the planets in this game, like in a lot of games that are not space sims, are not actual objects, right?
Right.
All it was just a sphere with a texture on it. The cool
So
thing
she
about
went
it
right
is
through it.
she went right through it. Yep. The cool thing about it is, and the thing that I was not expecting, and neither was she, was like these planets have orbits. Like they're spinning as you're going towards it. It's spinning as you're going towards it. It's orbiting inside of space, right? It's orbiting around the sun. So she had to continuously like get up every 30 minutes, reposition herself so that she wasn't going to just overshoot the entire
That's kind of cool
planet,
though.
which was impressive to me because I never thought that was going to be the case. I thought it would just be like a skybox that
Definitely.
displayed
A
in
I mean,
stagnant,
from what I
yeah.
understand, it is just a flat like image,
it is an image,
but it
yeah.
moves in real time space
It
around you.
it has space. It has like again, like I said, it has orbit. It has movement on the actual axis, everything like that. So I'm impressed that they added that into the game. Like honestly, like they could have just made it a skybox again, like I said,
Yeah,
and
like I
just
said,
made that
they
skybox
got-
moving. You know,
They definitely took some time with the amount of detail in the game, which I'm impressed about.
yeah. And in terms of like actual space flights, I'm gonna preface this by saying again, it's not a space sim, right? Like this is not a space sim. It doesn't have the best space flight in when it comes to like space
It's very
games
basic.
in general. It is very basic. It is not the
Just point-
best.
point
The
and click,
movement,
pretty much.
the movement is a little jittery, a little janky. There's a
Yeah.
mod that actually smooths that out pretty well, which is a Bethesda thing to have
Yeah,
to say.
there's gonna be a mod to fix everything in Bethesda. It's just
So
how it is.
it's not the best, but on the other hand, like I'm looking at it with like I coming off of playing No Man's Sky, right? I would say that these two games are very comparable in the way of like space flight and space combat when it comes down to like they're pretty close to each other. Like they're both
Really?
really arcadey. Yeah, they're both really arcadey. I haven't dug too far into Starfield's actual space flight and combat. I do know that there was a lot of people that were kind of annoyed that there wasn't any lock on. I think there is a lock on later, but you have to like invest points into it, which
Oh, maybe.
makes sense to me. It's an RPG. Like you're going to have to invest points if you want to do well in certain aspects of the game, and it has an entire like space combat section of the tree.
It's
So,
cool
like,
too
they're-
because you
yeah.
can dock onto other
Yeah.
spaceships. I think that's a really cool feature. I mean,
And
it's something
it offers
I
it
didn't
offers you a
expect.
play style. It offers you a play style
Yeah.
that you wouldn't be able to have on like games like No Man's Sky, because like No Man's Sky, you can dock on spacecrafts or you can dock on the on
Raiders.
like freighters and the space
Yeah.
stations and everything like that, but you can't like target spaceships
I
that
believe
you want.
can also get docked. If I'm not
I think so.
mistaken.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that you can
pretty
actually
sure I
be
saw
docked
that.
and invaded as
And
well.
that
in
gives me
Starfield.
like Marauders vibes.
But you can't in like No Man's Sky, you can't like target a spaceship's like thrusters and
Yeah.
disable the spaceship and then dock and take over that, which is that to me, like that's a big aspect of the gameplay that I want to look into, is like because I kind of do want to be the pirate. Like I want to be like
Mhm.
the kind of skirting the law sort of deal. Myself and Byte have been doing an RP, like a character RP. Byte is running. I forget the name. He's running Cowboy
Cowboy
Bebop.
Bebop.
I
Yeah.
think his name is Rick. I can't
I
remember.
can't remember.
Whatever it is, he's running Cowboy Bebop. I was gonna go
Spike-
with
are you talking about Spike?
with Spike. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not Spike. The other guy, the bald guy. The one that
Sorry, I don't
the
know.
one that runs, yeah, the one that
I know,
runs
I
the beat
can't-
up. I can't remember his name
remember.
either. But I was gonna go with Serenity and Firefly, and I was gonna do Captain Reynolds, right?
Jet.
But then yeah, Jet, yes, that's it. Yep. Thank you, Shelter.
Thanks, Shop.
I was gonna go with that, but then I was like, I kind of because I was looking at spaceships and people had already made the Serenity. People have already done that. So I was thinking about like all the 90s and 80s anime that I've watched in the past that have like spaceships and everything like that. It's kind of thinking about Gundam, but I don't think that you could do a lot of stuff in Gundam that
Well,
you
no,
could, you know.
I have seen the before, like the game even released. You saw that one person that made that giant robot.
Yeah, but it's
So
janky looking.
It's possible though.
It is
I'm just
possible.
saying,
It's just janky
possible.
looking. So I went with Gene Starwind from Outlaw Star, and I know that you don't know what Outlaw Star is, Scruffy, but
I
Outlaw
hadn't
Star
heard
is
of
an
that.
amazing 80s anime. It's all about this this kind of like he kind of skirts the law. He's a bit of a bounty hunter, but he's kind of a good guy still, but he's not at the same time, and he's got a dope ship. I think the biggest challenge for me is going to be making that ship, because like that ship is not going to be easy in this game. Granted,
I saw that.
we're doing limitations. We're very limited by what the actual game gives us, and I'm hoping that mods will actually give us even more
Oh, yeah.
options
Easily
later on down
will.
the road.
You
But
see, I wanna I wanna make the Futurama ship. I think that's my goal.
Futurama ship.
Yeah, yeah, man.
That'd be awesome,
That's-
dude. I saw somebody had made a 1-to-4 ratio of the Halo ship forward
yeah.
onto Dawn, I
Pelican.
think. No,
Yeah,
the Pelican, but I'm talking about the frigate, the forward onto Dawn that's destroyed the original Covenant ring, the first one, by running into it. I can't remember what the name of the captain was, but yeah, I mean, I
The
can't
fact that
gush
you can
about
do
it.
That is cool, man. Yeah.
I can't gush about that customization enough. Like they did have a lot of really good customization options for like character creation. They have a lot of customization options for the ships. The only things that I can complain about really is again, like I said, not a big fan of the amount of loading screens.
I was
really
just
don't.
gonna say, yeah.
That's one of the biggest complaints that I have of this game, and I think that's a limitation of the actual
Engine.
20-year-old engine, right?
Definitely is.
But then again, we saw today that like modders are starting to work out that like you actually the square maps aren't really just randomly generated. They're they're not. There's a grid of some sort, right? Isn't that what we were talking about?
Yeah,
Was it you that brought it up?
Yeah, they found out that
Nope.
no, that was me. That they found out that
Okay.
that you can bypass the invisible walls and prove that the tiles are actually connected like No Man's Sky as far as the planet is concerned.
Interesting.
So that they actually are not
So are
fully-
they actually randomly generated, or are they just not
They're randomly
like
given to you.
the tiles? You can
Depending
just go
on where you
between the
land.
tiles.
The tiles are custom made technically. They randomly give you a tile whenever you land,
Right.
based on like kind of
Oh,
a
interesting.
area, and then
So it's more like
and then they
it's more
randomly
like
populate
Remnant with their different sections of the map.
right, and then they
Right, okay.
randomly populate key points into those tiles. Like
Interesting.
one time you could technically get the same tile and have different key points. Like there would be a cave one time, and then there could be an outpost another time. It like
Huh.
those key points are where the randomness comes in. It's not all procedural. It's custom tiles with procedurally given things.
Very interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's an invisible wall between the tiles is kind
It
of a
sucks.
buzzkill,
Yeah,
especially
It's a
definitely buzzkill.
limitation of the engine because they don't want you to like they found out you can surpass it through mods, but if doing so, your game crashes if you load too much of the planet. So it
Makes
literally is
sense,
just
yeah.
a workload issue. So
Yeah. So, Sin,
it's in.
what's your opinion on it, buddy?
I've been waiting ever so just pleasantly.
yeah. Hey, look, I don't want to. I'm not gonna crush anyone. It's a good time. So I booted up the game last night. If you guys were in my stream, you saw me play it. And I
how
got
long have you played?
not long
Okay.
enough. I mean, I'm gonna be very brutally honest. I've watched a lot of content, streams, all this other kind of stuff. Have played up to the point of getting off of the initial whatever planet, mind, world thing that you're on, and then
Right.
getting into the ship and fucking around with that. And then I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And so
Couldn't deal with it anymore.
I turned it off.
Couldn't
So
deal
I-
with
could-
what in particular?
hold
What
on,
Yeah,
was
what
it?
in
hold on,
particular?
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm
I-
gonna
I-
get,
no,
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
get to it.
curious.
Let me go through my story, and then
Now we got you, bud.
We'll go there. So
Story.
I
He's got a whole
again,
story for like 40 minutes of gameplay.
Now
I-
this is a
I-
story all about
I
how
went to bed.
Tim's
I
laptop flipped turned upside down.
literally got off and said I'm done, and I uninstalled the game.
You can't talk about that on YouTube.
We can't talk about what.
Can't talk about what.
Going to bed and getting
Enigma
off.
got it.
Oh, anyway.
I
Oh,
got
God,
you, boo.
getting off. Yeah, no.
Oh,
I did that. I did that before the show too. Anyway. So
it was in space.
I uninstalled the game, and that was it. And then I booted up No Man's Sky and went and played, in my opinion, a better Starfield. Now, I woke up this morning and sat through and really took some time to kind of like look over everything that I didn't like and what was it about the game that just kind of really turned me off. And what I have kind of come to the understanding of or agreeance of is that if you like Bethesda games and you like Fallout and you like Oblivion or you like Skyrim or you like those style of games, then yes, this game is for you. This is a Skyrim or Oblivion in space. What I think is unfair is that people are judging this game on a lot of things where you're asking a company to change its direction from what it does over and over and over again. That's like saying that you expect World of Warcraft, like for them not to be World of Warcraft, right? Like they're going to be, something completely different and whatever else. Or you're asking Madden to stop doing Madden and start doing something different. So I think that like the argument that people have of being like, well, this is a game that should be pushing the boundaries or beats all of those things that it shouldn't, that are something very different, I think is wrong to say, because I think that again, it's a Bethesda game. It's going to play like a Bethesda game. It's going to act like a Bethesda game. It's a Bethesda game. Like you're going to get what Bethesda does. They're going to continue to do what they do well.
Yeah.
Where I have issues with it is that, and I do think that then if you're going to argue, if that's the argue point that I think that is the right argue point to stand on, I also think that argument can also be taken the exact same way of saying like, okay, cool. Like, by saying like, oh, that's Bethesda jank, that doesn't warrant it. I don't think that's an okay statement to say like, oh, it's just Bethesda jank, so we're going to overlook it. Like the fact that, the creation engine is 20,
or the statement that mods will fix it.
right? Like I think that is
it's no excuse. I mean,
no,
yeah.
it's not. And
Yeah,
we
that's
and we
what I was
and we
about to say. I don't think that either me or Scruffy.
no. I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
Jake,
I'm not saying you
Yeah.
guys. I'm saying that the overarching.
I'm just putting it out there that like whenever me and Scruffy say that, like we're
no,
You
I,
just know
by
what to
no
expect.
means
I know.
by no means we're not excusing them.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
we just know
I
at this point with this many releases what to expect
Yeah.
going into these games.
well,
So
and,
we-
and here's the sad thing, and this is where I think that the company and the game does deserve to have points docked. Like, I think that Bethesda knows that. I think Bethesda knows that
Oh,
they
yeah.
can be like, oh, well,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can release this
They can
game
get away
and
with it.
modders will fix it.
That's
Or,
why
you
that's
know,
why they released 76 in the state that it was released in, was because they were just like, well, people will accept it because it's a Fallout game.
And
what else are you gonna do? You know?
also
They've owned into it too, just because they've released the creation engine in past games, and they stated that they're coming out with a creation engine in this game in about a year or so, and they're going to come out with a big bang because they said we know how much you guys love.
yeah, but
mods."
that's here's the thing. That's
they're gonna come out with a big bang space jokes.
that's still to me I think call them to their shit, like call them to their run,
Yeah,
because
100%.
we would do that with anybody else. We have done that with Sony games, with
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo
Yeah.
games, and everybody else. Like I think it's unfair to sit here and go, oh well, we know that you guys love mods. Wink, it's like no, we like fixing. We know that we can release this.
We
and
want
you're
a
gonna fix
a
it.
full game,
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And also too, I think that a lot of it has to do with like they know that they came off of like at this point the coming off of 76, they had nothing else other than a home run to be able to hit. As long as the game was functional, worked, and was decent enough, like it,
Well,
I
that-
think that they looked
that
at
was that was my limitation, like, going into this. I was just like, hey man, if I can get anything better than 76, I'll be fucking happy at
yeah,
this point, you know.
and I think that
I
like
think that was a lot of people.
I think that because of that, like a lot of people are giving this game some leeways, and where for me, my statement point has been this the entire time is that in a post cyberpunk post and not let me rephrase this too, because I've heard this and people immediately lean in and go, cyberpunk was a buggy piece of shit mess, busted garbage ass game when it first launched or whatever else, and I get that, but the overarching feeling of cyberpunk when I mean from like a world perspective or like what I felt when I booted in or played into Starfield, like I was very compelled in the world. Like if I shot around somebody, I felt that world, feel it and live it. In this game, I actually mentioned that to you, Scruffy, like when you were playing,
yeah.
I was like, hey, pop a shot next to that
We
dude's
even
foot,
tested it out. Yeah.
and
I mean,
and nobody is going to move, right? But
no
yet
reaction.
if you like, they don't care, there's not even a jump, a stutter, a scream, nothing. Like it's immersion breaking and it doesn't feel good. So in a game of post cyber or in a world of post cyberpunk, and also it's impossible to take this game and not compare it to No Man's Sky, because they are both, space games, exploration games, space, whatever you want to call them. Like it is going to be compared to that. And so I think when you sit here and it's hard to look at and play this and play No Man's Sky after having played No Man's Sky and be like, well, I can go from planet to planet without having to have load screens. I can I don't know how, like the engine, the space flying stuff to me was atrocious. I hated fucking flying in this game. Like I
can't blame you. It's okay. It's very bare bones.
This
at least from
idea
what I've experienced so far. I don't know.
Like this idea of like me having to sit there and try to go from like, okay, I need to focus on what's happening, but I need to lower my grav shields, but I need to raise my missiles, but I need to move this engine down, or I need to move like in the middle of trying to fight, on top of the way that I move feels very clunky because I have to push my reticle all the way to the side and it will track. And in the very like the small amount of time that I played, the very first thing when you're getting trained on how to fly, like no matter what I did, it was almost so impossible to try to catch up to this one dude that like, and I don't know why, like he just, no matter if I slowed down, sped up, shifted, boosted, anything, like he was always outside of my reticle zone. And then trying to lock on, yeah, it's a cool concept, but in the middle of a fight, trying to lock on, switch where my navigation over, or like switch over to what system do I want to fire on, then trying to manage how many missiles do I have, how many lasers do I have. Like I get the point of it, but at the same time, in this statement, in this argument, you said like this is not a space sim, but that's trying to be a space sim. Like you're trying to go in a direction that's space sim, because you're making me manage all of these different things, but yet it does.
If I may comment,
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like it's not forcing you to manage that much, because honestly, you can play with it very basically. Like I just for that intro, I just stood in one place and moved my mouse up to where they were, and I didn't touch the grav stuff or anything down there. I just shot the shields down with the lasers, then pummeled them with artillery and missiles, and that pretty much did the job. I didn't take it like I have to boost to them and boost this way and that way, and I think maybe
I did what the game was telling me to do. I mean, I was literally being told
what the game was telling you to. They were being like, turn this down.
Exactly.
Turn that up,
I'm going to do what the game is telling me to do, and that's my first interaction into your space flying. And that's not like, it's not a good feeling. It doesn't feel as smooth as if
I see what you mean with saying that they are trying to be kind of a space sim, but the
like
fact is they're just not.
But they're not. Like
they're not.
And I also like I absolutely cannot stand the UI. Not this what you're seeing on screen right now, but like the inventory UI system. I fucking hate it. I hate it with a fucking passion. And
again to bounce off the mods.
I get
boom,
it, but like
no, I'm saying it because that's just how it is, man.
But again, I think that so I think that these are all
hysterical that they launched with all of that, knowing that modders were gonna fix it.
Yeah, the better Pit Boy mod.
right.
Yeah.
Like I
That's how
Pretty much,
Bethesda's
man.
always been, man. Like they
Yeah.
just know that the modders will fix whatever
Yeah, but
blunders they have. It's
and I
ridiculous.
can't disagree. Yeah, I can't disagree with you guys in saying like it's a scapegoat, you know, to be almost have a lazy development in certain aspects because they do know that modders are
Well, it's
going
an
to fix it.
extremely lazy development. They didn't even do the bare essentials on some
Well,
of the
you could
aspects.
tell that it was lazy development straight from the start screen, right? So
Yeah, right. Right.
but I you know, I think that what I'll say about from a positive standpoint is what I do love about this, and this is something that Bethesda has always, I think, had a magical way of getting it done, but has been limited by their resources. And it seems like in this, there's a lot more resources to be able to play around with, is just the sheer like playground that you kind of get to be in and do. Like you can kind of solve things the
It's
way
huge,
you
man.
want,
Yeah.
right? Like I
Yeah.
watched a video where a dude was like, I can't get through this door. And I love games that give me the ability of like, if I think I can do it, I can do it. So he took out his laser cutter and was like, fuck this, and blew the bolts off the door. The door fell down.
Yeah.
He walked through it. Great. That's amazing. Like kudos, right? For those things. But overarching, like to me, and again, I don't want to speak on the story, but because I haven't played enough of it to even experience any of it. Like, but from what I have watched, like it's
Unless you don't
just
do
so
story.
not well, yeah, but even from what I've watched, like it's still
Jokes.
like well, that's not a joke. I mean, it like I knew going into
No,
this who I was.
I know.
I wanted to play enough of it to at least give
From
opinion about what I've played. And it just
yeah,
doesn't- it
for,
does-
from what I've heard about the story, and I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything like that, but from what I've heard about the story, it's a pretty standard like Fallout 4 story, right? Like if you played through Fallout 4 and you didn't do any of the side quests or anything like that, Fallout 4's story was extremely fucking boring and very swift. It was very quick, right? And from what I understand, this game's
I've heard
story
it's
is
only like
is
about
very
18
confident.
hours.
Yeah.
If that, yeah.
That's what
The
they
thing,
released or
the
whatever, I don't
weird
know.
thing that I have with this one is like, so when it released into early access, a lot of people were saying, you know, oh, push and New Game Plus, NG Plus, right? Push NG Plus, push NG Plus, push NG Plus as quickly as you can. Because apparently once you hit once you finish the story and you get into New Game Plus, the game turns into almost like a roguelike, right? So when you finish your New Game Plus, things get removed from you, but you still have like your skills and your abilities. But like there's almost like some kind of a randomness or like an RNG to the world. Certain things happen inside of the world that weren't there in the previous iteration, right?
That's kind of cool.
And I was watching I think it was Co-Carnage was talking about it in the spoiler free like video, because I've been hearing, you know, New Game Plus, you got to do it, you got to rush, and that's not what this game is about. Like that's not what Bethesda games have ever been about, right? Like it's always been do what you want, follow storylines, follow side quests, get lost in the game, right? But for them to be like so focused on New Game Plus was just very interesting to me. But yeah, apparently it has like and I've seen somebody that's done like New Game Plus like 16 times, and every time there's like a new thing on every one of his New Game Pluses. That's part of that, and I don't know what exactly they mean necessarily by like RNG or things that are new or
like
different.
random encounters.
Yeah.
I
See,
assume like
I don't know what exactly they mean by that, but it just seems like a weird thing for them to push considering who they are,
yeah, I
right?
hadn't even heard of that. That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
that points out a couple things I do want to point out while we're sitting here watching this. So one of the other things that I don't like about the game, and I mean, to be fair, I've never liked any of the Fallout shooting. I don't feel like the shooting is good. Like I think it handles fine, but I don't feel like
It's
there is no
there's
like
not much
It's not going to be
oomph.
enough.
It's
Yeah,
it's
Well, no, no,
20-year-old
I don't
shooting.
mention that when I was playing
I
it,
don't
like-
want an FPS, but like I do want, again, when I say like a post cyberpunk, like those weapons you had
It's so
feel,
funny because
had
everything that
oomph.
you comment on is everything that I've fixed in like Fallout 4 with
Modding,
mods.
yeah.
Right, which is
That's 'cause,
such,
I
like,
was about to
installed
say-
a
I was about to say,
gunshot
look at-
and reverberation mod for Fallout 4
Look
because
at-
I'm like, dude, their guns, they feel so weak.
Look at what our look at what our boy Bite does
Yeah.
on like a daily
Legit,
basis. He
Yeah,
turns
plays like
Fallout 4
Frost.
into Stalker, man. I mean,
like I mean, and
yeah.
you know, this all points to
It's-
what I again, I ultimately, and again, I am not rating the game on mods. I'm rating the game solely as the game is.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Which you should.
I think
Exactly, you should. That's where the base like standard is. You should rate the game on that.
I think that the game, honestly, like, I think it would have done better, like 100% if it would have not said, like, and I know Bethesda's never going to do it, but just been like, hey, there's like, that's one of the special things about No Man's Sky, and I think just in general in space, because space in its own way is such an interesting play. Like, it's just such an interesting like concept of like, it's space. I can go where I want, do it. I can become what I want to become already. I don't need and you're gonna yell at me about being a story guy. I don't need a story. Drop me in and just be like, hey, you're a miner. You touch this fucking thing. All of a sudden, your memory's erased. Now go experience the world. Like,
if you're gonna say that, then you might as well just not play Bethesda stories, because that's what they do.
I know, but what I'm saying is I think that the game would have done better. I'm not knocking them for doing that. I'm just saying I think that the game would have been a better overall experience.
But then you're moving into what you had said earlier, where you're asking Bethesda to do something that they've never done.
Again, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that what they did was wrong. I'm just saying that from my experience in space, like, and watching people play this, where people are complaining in it, and again, I'm not saying that they should have done it, or that I'm docking it points for it. I'm just saying that I think it would have been a better experience of being like, hey, here's the intro, now go do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. Like, there's no overarching story.
You can, though.
Right.
You're not forced into the story.
I know you're not forced
you're
into
started into it, but then you can do whatever you want after.
But one of the things that draws people in to games like No Man's Sky or whatever else, and is because there is that exploratory, like, oh my God, I can do whatever I want. There's no shackles. You're not. The universe itself, the world is the main character, and I think that's where this kind of gets lost, because the world, and from what I've watched, doesn't seem like the main character. Again, you are, and again, I know this is a Bethesda thing, so I'm not going to dock it. What I'll say is that I don't think that the game deserves, like, a lot, like Quinn and all these guys are fucking ranting and raving and just shitting on the game, left and right, about like all of this stuff, and that the Bethesda should have learned and these kind of things. Here's what I'll say. I think, again, if you're a Bethesda fan and you like Bethesda style games, this is more Bethesda. It's just Bethesda in space. Yeah. It's Bethesda in space. And it does
definitely Oblivion, like, I think you mentioned, like, it's got that old Bethesda feel to it.
I think the biggest issue that people had going into this is it was kind of along the same lines of like Cyberpunk 2077, right? They hyped it up. They kind of looked at it and were like, oh, this is gonna be a space sim. This is gonna be a space sim. Like, it's 100%. It's in space.
The fault of Todd Howard.
Which is the fault of Todd Howard, for sure. He did kind of push for that. He did kind of push and be like, this is the ultimate space sim that we can make, essentially.
He's just got such a big mouth.
Yeah, that is a huge deal with Todd Howard. Is he's always been that way, man. It's 76, Fallout 4, Fallout 3. Every one of them he is hyped up, and you can say the same thing about Sean Murray as well. Like, when he first released, it's just a terrible thing to hype up a game that much and then not be able to deliver it. But what was I trying to say? I feel like people just they took their own interpretation of what the game was going to be and made that a canon, and then when it didn't actually happen the way that they wanted it to, they blamed the company for essentially their own interpretation of what the game is going to be.
In gaming nowadays too. And I think that's exactly right too, because like I said, I went into this game just expecting Fallout 4 in space.
Same.
And that's
this is
pretty much what we got.
This is what I've been saying for the last couple of months, almost to a year now. Like, I am so sick and tired of the world that we live in, and gamers in this space, where if it's not 100% perfect, like to a T, every line dotted, every I line, whatever, you know what the fuck I'm trying to say, everything being like perfect, then they shit on it, and they just shit on it, and they just this ideology. Not saying that there's not stuff in this game that are wrong, but like,
there's not. There's 100% stuff that's wrong in this game.
You've got Sony people that are yelling. You've got Xbox people that are like defending. You've got people that have no rhyme or reason to shit on a game, shitting on it. You have other people that are defending it, and it skews everything. And here's what I'll say: this is another great example of why I do like something like Game Pass. Go try it out. Like if you don't
Yeah.
like it, then don't buy it. If you do like it, buy it and enjoy the shit out of it and love it. Right? I think from a
And
rating,
on that on just to piggyback off that, if you put 25 hours into it and refund it, you're a fucking scumbag. So
I think that's also a really shitty thing to do.
So many
That's
so many people did
ridiculous.
that.
Like,
So many
yeah,
people did that.
I think that's a shitty thing to do, and
You can
whatever
blame
else.
Steam and Valve for that because that's the
Yeah.
way that their
That-
policy
that-
works.
that
If any
is-
game is in early access before it's fully released, you're able to refund it.
That's longer than
like
the
any time
main
played.
story lasts, dude. They played
Yeah.
through the entire main story and then said, "Nah, I'm gonna get my money
And
back."
again, yeah,
crazy,
that's,
and
man.
then rebought it for a lower price. If I'm sure some people did that because, you know,
it's
why
just,
not?
Like again,
Yeah.
I think I think that this, and then that's what gets traction, and then it gets
Mhm.
reactionary content. And I mean, for God's sake, there was a thing that went live that and we talked about this on the show. Let me tell you something. If you're not listening to our show and like actually like paying attention to what the fuck we say, I'm telling you, we are gurus. We know what we're talking about. We've been in this industry for a long time. We talked about the fact that content is becoming reactionary to reactionary to reactionary to reactionary to reactionary. One of Asmund Gold's thing, literally, he was watching someone react to to someone else's reaction of his being reacting to someone else reacting to him reacting, and it was like 7 reaction screens, and it's just like that. And again, someone like Quinn puts something out that is about, Bethesda, what he doesn't like, and he shows that he's refunding it and makes viral content, and everybody reacts to it. It plummets the score. Like, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that this game deserves fucking 80s, 90s. Anybody giving it 100, I think, yeah, that's a little crazy. Like, me personally, if I had to give it a score, I'd put a 73 on it. Like, I think 73 in my mind.
That's pretty.
You
Yeah.
can't
that's-
say that because the Xbox community will tear you apart.
I
for a
don't care.
7.
Come out. Hey, all you got. Look, I don't care. Put comments down below. You don't like me? Put comments down below.
That was one of the
You
weirdest
better
things
not
that I
work for
saw
Sony, or
transpire
I'm
from
gonna
this.
write a message saying that you should get fired soon.
That was one of the weirdest things I saw transpire from this was the IGN USA 7 out of 10 and the PC Gamer 7 out of 10. Just
Yeah.
getting eviscerated by the Xbox community because they didn't feel like it was justified, and that IGN USA and PC Gamer were purposefully bringing the score down because it's an Xbox game. And
Oh my
Yada,
god!
yada, yada.
No, I'm giving it a 73 because I don't think that the game deserves to be anything really higher than that. Like, I think it is an okay game. Like, and for
That's-
me,
yeah,
it's
what
an
happened? What happened to the day where a 7 was like
fine.
good? Like,
Good,
decent,
right? Yeah. 'Cause I was gonna
unless
say,
it's a 9
I-
or up, people lose their fucking minds these days.
I even like the game, and I'd give it like a high 7 too. Like, I'd give it like a 79, and
Yeah,
that's
like,
comparable to Sin, and he doesn't even like the game that much.
Yeah,
But like
so-
the game's not
it.
bad. Like, it's just okay. It's
So that's why I said I'm gonna save it for the show. That's why, because I knew that you guys were gonna think that I was gonna come in here and try to rip it to shreds, and I really
I was
wasn't.
hoping
Like,
for spicier, man.
it's
I was
no,
hoping
I'm
for.
not- I mean,
I came in.
Sin, can you give us some spice? Like, I'm kind of.
I mean,
need
you
it.
want?
Yeah, can you just a little taste? Like,
I came in
Say
with
something.
my teeth guard and my boxing gloves on, bro. Come on, man.
I fucking hate the fact that I can pick up literally everything in this game, because as someone that is
That's
like
terrible.
literally like
this is a Bethesda
that,
game.
that wants
How
to
dare
own
you.
everything. I hate it. I don't know.
Your
like-
takes are terrible.
Yeah. And I also I will
Thank
say
you.
I hate the fucking AI in this game. I think that the AI is absolutely, completely and utterly atrocious. And to say, like, I will say again, okay, you're gonna say it's a Bethesda game, but at a certain point, I still expect
No, I wasn't.
I still expect you to go and say, you know what? It's been you've done this for 20 years, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
better, and like that's the part where I will say shame on the company.
Yep.
Because
No, I completely agree with you.
bullshit.
20-year-old tech
Yep.
should not be
Me
still
and
being used in
Enigma
modern
have said
games.
it for so many years. They just need to drop the creation.
They need to
engine,
get rid of
man.
it. Yeah, it's
Need to get
ridiculous
rid
that
of it.
we're still
I hope
we're
it is
literally
true
still
that-
playing games on a game engine that was running Fallout 3. Guys,
Yeah.
like that was running Oblivion, actually. I think before that. Like, this is
yeah.
ridiculous.
More, I don't know, man. Dude, it's crazy, and I really do hope that Elder Scrolls 6. The rumors are true that it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. Gosh.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
hope.
Yeah.
So.
My opinion on the whole thing, and I've watched a lot of content on it.
You're a Sony,
Um,
bro. You don't have an opinion, sir. No.
Okay, that's fair. You're absolutely correct.
Continue.
No, please. Yes.
My opinion on it is this looks like it is not a step in, like, any positive direction from Fallout 4. This seems like they have stagnated as a company creatively. It seems like this isn't the show up that they needed post 76 downfall. This is not
No,
it.
100%.
This
Not
game
it.
feels like Fallout 4, but with a ship builder system that's actually really fucking cool. It's probably the best system in the game, in my opinion.
I think that's the
Yeah.
most redeemable part of this game is like the
Definitely.
shipbuilding
The
system.
shipbuilder
I
and the
think.
movement for me.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
does it. It's not a step from Fallout 4, but it is a step from Fallout 76. So it's
For
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I totally agree with you, Bill.
Yeah,
I would argue really quickly that it's like the people, you guys that are saying that like it's not a step forward for like the gaming franchise. I will 100% agree with you, but I think it is a little bit of a step forward. I think that they're finally starting to realize they can't continue on with the same bullshit that they've been pulling, right?
Are
like
they?
trying.
I don't know. Yeah,
Are
I'm
they?
hoping
Question
because
mark?
like
We can
the
hope.
added
I don't know about that.
the added stuff that we were seeing with like the ship customization, the push to at least try for something that
let's
they've
be
never
real
done
here, though.
before when it comes to like space combat and like the space simulation, quote unquote, air quote, right? I think that they're at least trying to push out of that. I just don't think they're doing it very successfully.
Yeah, I'll give it to you on the space combat aspect, but let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. This is the settlement builder system.
Oh yeah,
from
100%. No,
Fallout 4 put
definitely.
into a
No,
a
100%.
shipbuilder.
It's just chopped up and
Yeah.
reimagined into a
Yeah.
shipbuilder.
yeah,
Like,
100%. I'm not arguing with you on that.
I think Bethesda is stagnated as a company when it comes to these style games. I don't know if they know how to properly innovate on the formula that they've already set out.
Yep.
And for better or worse, the community will buy this up just because they
Yeah, it's a
enjoy that
Bethesda game.
formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who would buy this game.
Now, I'm a bit more critical than Sin is on this game, actually, believe it or not. But I can't justify it too heavily because I have not played it. But from what I've watched firsthand, it almost seems like in some aspects a step backward from the company. When you have environments and worlds built up like what they did with Fallout 3 and Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff, the tile system like really irks me. And now the more that I learn about how that tile system works, the more irked I get because it is being locked down, one, because of the tech, but two, it seems like an arbitrary reason why they're locking it down.
This is a lazy.
I
lazy
don't
way
know
of
why
doing
they
it, you know?
couldn't. Yeah, because in all
It's,
of those
it's
games,
because they didn't want to put time into it. They didn't want to put time into actually procedurally generating an entire world, more than likely.
I don't know if they know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they know how. I don't know.
I don't.
I'm,
think
I'm
the
not sure. I'm
creation
not sure if
engine
it's
can
that they don't
handle
know. Yeah, that's what I was
procedural.
about to say. I'm not sure if it's that they don't know how. I think it's that they don't know how to make it work on the creation engine.
Then at that point, and Bill,
Again.
I'm gonna let you finish. But like in that point,
Okay, Kanye.
I think I think that I think someone needs to go to Todd Howard and say, you putting us on this engine is hindering us more than this ideology of
All right.
keeping it there. Like,
I'll be right back. I got some.
I got
words
you,
to
bro.
speak.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've got here. I'm tight. You know, I'm putting in his number right now. Okay. Hey, Todd. Yeah. It's Enigma P-Patch Podcast. Yeah. I know. You're a big fan. Yeah. Sin says fuck you, and
I really
get rid
do,
of the
man.
get rid of the.
Yeah. I really do. Go ahead, Bill. Finish what you're saying, though.
I don't even remember where I was at.
Sorry.
But the tile system,
Yeah.
system, the fact that you can unlock it and you can actually like bounce from these tiles and stuff, I would rather them have put a fucking load screen on the edges of those tiles to move into the next
Even
tile.
so, just add, there's already an abundance of load screens. What's another one, man?
It would be one load screen as opposed
Yeah.
to four, because I counted it watching Byte. You're on a planet. You finish doing what you're doing. You get on your ship. That's a load screen. You get into the cockpit. That's a load screen. You fly off to like out into space to get an orbital on the planet. That's a load screen. And then you land back down on a different tile on the map. That is another load screen. Then you have to get off of your ship. That's a load screen. It's redundancy.
It's redundancy.
You're
beyond
fighting
on the
redundancy,
load
beyond
screen.
redundancy,
Whereas they
yeah.
could have very easily done it where you could walk to an edge of a tile, load into it, and move on. Now,
For sure.
I think the only reason they didn't do this is because then you'd have to load your screen your way back into it. It's weird, man.
Well, it's
It's
just
a really weird like corner that they've kind of painted themselves into
yeah.
with
I mean,
this, especially considering the fact that there is no quick way of traversing any of these planets. If you had the ability to like quick hop in your ship from tile to tile, that would have been a fix that I would have been acceptable with, instead of having to go up into space and then land to a randomly given tile instead of like you can't even choose the tiles necessarily. I've seen videos with New Atlantis, right? Where you're landing outside of New Atlantis. Sometimes you'll land in a spot and you can see like way off in the distance, you can barely see the city, right? Cool. That's immersion. You land in the exact same tile, like you load off another tile and then load back to that same tile. It gives you a tile. New Atlantis isn't anywhere in sight. It's weird, man.
And it's not even reachable. You can't even go to like you see it, but I don't think you can go there. You can't walk there.
and
no,
the sad
you cannot.
the sad thing about this is that, and this is what I've been saying, and from the beginning, is that if this would have been dropped, if this game would have come out, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, right? Like, I think it would have easily have gotten, a 9, 8, 9 from, most people, because that we would not have known better, right? Like Fallout 4, no Fallout 76, and it was Starfield. Yeah, it would have been fucking rave reviews across the board. But that's what I'm saying. And post Cyberpunk, post No Man's Sky, the world of 2023 that gaming is right now, you dropping this. And then people being like, well, it works because it's working a lot better than most Bethesda games work. It's like, that's not an answer. Like, that's not an excuse. That's not okay. Like, it does, even like watching you play this, Scruffy, I'm watching like how the character like she walked into the elevator, stood still, didn't like naturally kind of turn around. It was like stood still and then just fucking rotated on an axis. It's crazy. And then also too, like our chat's kind of bringing up here, like I've said this from the very beginning. They know damn good and well that multiplayer is something that people have asked for fucking ever, since Skyrim. Why the fuck did they not? I mean, I know why, because again, the creation engine, but like, why the fuck did you not do multiplayer? Like,
right.
in this game where you've got shipbuilding, you're going to show this stuff off. You're going to make, like, come on. Like, I don't, it just,
yeah. The development window, I definitely think, is something that companies are struggling with entirely. Like Final Fantasy 16 had the same issue. It had an extremely long development time, and playing as heavily into the tropes of like Game of Thrones as it did with its plot and stuff, the development kind of pushed it outside of the window where that was like the thing.
right.
And I think this is also kind of feeling that too.
You have to, like, as a developer, you have to say, okay, cool. You're not like, they developed for the current time frame and landscape that they were in when they started, not trying to figure out what would be 10 years into, which again, I know is crazy to say, but like you want to try to be like, okay, cool. What am I going to be seeing, 5 years in the future? What is tech gonna, like, what am I going to try to do right 5 to 10 years in the future? And if you're developing in the here and now, and that's where your game is going to be based, well, then it's going to be rated and looked at as a 10-year-old game. And that's where I think this falls into. Again, keeping in mind that I think why Bethesda people are loving it so much is because, well, their last game that they got was 76, and that was a hot piece of trash, right? You have not had a good game since New Vegas, so like
there was a low bar to step over, man.
Very low bar.
So
very low bar. So,
and again, what works, and it still play like it's fine. That's why I'm not like shilling against it so like hardly, but I still think that like, this is more of my outcry against Todd.
Wait, you're shilling?
Against
you're shilling
against
for Bethesda?
Against it.
Oh, he said he's shilling for Bethesda, boys.
I am going hard against directors and things like that, like Todd Howard and executives that think that they know better. Because I guarantee you that somebody within Bethesda, somebody somewhere said, "Hey, this is probably needs to, like, we could do better. Can we talk about this?" And they got told no. Like, they got told no.
I guarantee Phil Spencer was the one who said that, because he was the reason that they had to delay it for a year to quality of life change it.
You're saying that that Phil Spencer was the one telling them no?
I think Phil Spencer, if this game had released when it originally wanted to release, it would have been a steaming
That would
pile.
have been a fucking
Oh yeah.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been
And I think
76
Phil
all over
Spencer
again.
and the Xbox team saw this and were like, okay, we cannot stamp our name to this. We need the development time.
So
'Cause
here's a quick question.
They
Here's
said that the entire reason for the delay, like the entire delay window, the game was pretty well gold at that point, but it was all quality of life.
So here's a quick question for you, and I just want to get like a quick answer from each of you. Because my opinion is it's better than what they released prior, right? And not like the recent releases for like Bethesda, but like it's better than Redfall, right? Like in my
Oh,
opinion, this game is
Oh,
a far shadow
significantly.
from Redfall,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that this is the win that Bethesda and Microsoft needed? Like
I mean,
to
has-
overshadow
it
that?
sold the most Bethesda copies, so I think they're taking a win.
No. You're. It has the most Bethesda players. They have not released sales figures yet because Game Pass is involved.
Okay.
So it has
whoa,
the
okay.
most people playing it at launch out of a Bethesda game, which
That's
I think
what it
it's
was.
it's
Yeah.
sitting at 6
You are
million players
6
currently.
million.
Like
Yeah. That's just the stats I
yeah, as
saw.
of 5 hours ago, they passed 6 million Starfield players. They have not released actual sales numbers because Xbox doesn't care about hard sales. They
Well,
care
and
about.
Well, you
I
can
don't-
you
I don't
can
know if
kind of
it's-
gauge the sales at least off of like Steam, for instance. Like I think that I had posted something that was like 3 million within the first like couple of days, just off of those $100 pre-orders.
I mean, I'm also not a proponent of sales figures being because
Yeah.
we live in a state now of games as a service that are provided on, PlayStation Plus, Game Pass,
Right.
EA,
Right.
whatever else. So I don't know if
There's
sales numbers
alternatives now.
are the right
mean,
metric
like-
to look at it.
Like
but-
like I said, like do you
So-
guys feel
so
like
to-
coming out of Redfall? Do you
To-
guys feel like this is a win for Microsoft?
to answer your question, I will say that is this the win that they needed? I'm not gonna say that. I think that this is this is still a win because Microsoft and Bethesda, and I'll just say this: Microsoft, I'll screw all Bethesda. Microsoft has not really had a win in a long time, and I think that this at least is a positive. It's not a negative,
No, I don't
This
think it's a
is
negative.
still a very big name title that they scored, right?
right.
So-
Is this
What-
gonna win Game of the Year? No, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
No.
What I'm curious about is how this is going to affect console sales and how it's going to affect Game Pass subscriptions, because I think that's what the big factors that Xbox was needing for this to hit. If it
I
wasn't
think
going to
it'll
sell
hit Game
consoles,
Pass for sure.
It's
Yeah.
gonna sell
Sell
Game
consoles.
Pass.
the reason I'm bringing that up is because so we have 6 million players right now. There are 25 million Game Pass subscriptions active as of January last year. So there's probably or June last year. So there's probably more of them now than there were back then. That on top of Steam purchases and standard like Xbox purchases, do you think that is a good metric for where it's at? Considering
Yes.
any of those 25 million plus could pick up this game and play it at any time and factor into being one of those 6 million players.
Yes, because I do think that take me as an example. If we did not have this show, I would not have picked up and played that game at all. So like I am one of I will take the show out of the equation and say that I'm one of those ones with a Game Pass subscription that would have never touched Starfield.
Right.
Does that mean that Starfield is because it only hit if 6 million totals are players? How many are on Steam? How many users are on Steam?
I don't think they broke.
I
down
can
look at
I
Steam
can
charts.
check it. Yeah, I'm checking it right now. Starfield currently has, as of 9 minutes ago or 6 minutes ago, 209,718, with an all-time peak of 216,772.
Okay, so let's just say 220,000. So 220,000
It's a
people.
very low percentage
Right,
of
so-
the 6 million.
So right. So we'll say that let's say 2 million purchased the game and the other 2 million or 3 million or whatever else are Game Pass. I think that that's fine for them. I think that they look at that as saying it's a win. Like it's great.
Yeah.
So I don't think that trying to say that I don't know if there's going to be ever a game that's going to capture anywhere close to all 25 million or a shred of 25 million.
Right.
Because I don't know what the fuck that would even be.
Yeah, it's also weird that earlier in the week, I think it was yesterday before the full game launched, they or when the full game launched, Phil Spencer, I think, was retweeted, or maybe it was the Starfield official. They were hyping up the 1 million concurrent players across PC and Xbox. Like, I feel like that's a weird metric to be propping up as well.
I mean,
in the early access,
after this was like the day of official release.
Oh,
I think hitting 1 million people live on launch or players on anything, regardless,
it's a pretty big deal for any game. I think
is still big, and
it is.
So I think like
I'm not impressed as much by that metric though, as I would rather see hard sales figures. I would rather see like sales figures broken up or player figures broken up by Game Pass sub and hard copy sales, and then you can split it up even more by which device they're doing it on, whether it's Xbox consoles or PC.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I would like to see those metrics.
Considering games like Hogwarts, I think its peak concurrent player base on Steam alone was close to 900,000. Baldur's Gate, same thing, around like mid 850 to 900,000. There's a lot of games that on single consoles or single setups have gotten close to that 1 million.
So Hogwarts Legacy all-time peak was 527,000, and I think Baldur's Gate was like 875.
It was high. It was up there.
Yeah.
I mean,
which funny metric, as of 24 hours ago, Baldur's Gate 3 was at 363,375 people on Steam,
which is wild considering
that's crazy. Yeah.
But and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm not particularly impressed with that number, considering the scope of some of the third-party games that have come out. And I wonder how much this has actually hindered the reach of the game if it had remained a third-party product.
I mean, okay.
I mean, they would have had more people.
Yeah, they would have
had more sales because they would have had an entire another friend user base buying it. But
but I think also, like, so yes, I agree with you, Bill, in saying that it is hindered because it is locked down. I mean,
that's gonna be a first party,
right? Anything. I mean, we look at God of War. We look
at you can say the same thing about God of War, Spider-Man,
yeah.
So I think
it is good enough trade, I guess, is the better thing. Like,
I think 100% it's a good enough trade. I think
for Microsoft, absolutely. I think for Microsoft to look at this, they finally looked at the Bethesda purchase and said, okay, like
we're finally going to get some money out of this.
This stamps the approval that we
to
got.
To quickly answer your question, Enigma, I think it was a win.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it was a huge win for him. I don't know if it was as big of a win as I was hoping that they would have, but yeah, for sure, I think it was a huge win for Xbox for sure.
Yeah. And the other last thing that I'll say on this, and we need to move on, is that the amount that this game could have come out as a steaming hot pile of fucking ass garbage and not work, not do, like, just be complete, just
it launched in a pretty fair state.
Yeah. The fact that it didn't, like, I will put that in I'll give you kind of like a pat on the back, being like, because that's
you shouldn't have to, though.
Right. I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not giving you a thumbs up. I'm giving you all right, pat on the back. Like, you didn't release a hot fucking like, it blows my mind that Bethesda, is known for releasing hot garbage, is this massive company that got bought for $7 billion. Like, I'm like, if that's the case, shit, man, I got 2 kids that produce shit all the time. Y'all want to buy them for fucking, I'll sell them to you for cheap. I'm not condoning selling your kids. Don't do that.
Wow. It took a turn.
By the way, Anyway,
Moving
so,
on.
yeah.
How do you transition from that?
Hot garbage transitioning into more hot garbage. I could absolutely transition into that. Let me show you what this hot garbage is supposed
Selling
to
my
be.
kids, transforming it.
Grand Theft Auto 6
GTA, you want to buy my kids, man?
is supposedly is rumored. I want to make sure it's known.
Allegedly.
Is rumored
Yeah.
to be selling for $150 fucking dollars is what it's supposed to retail at.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
fucking
I think
hope
that's a
not.
collector's edition,
yeah.
honestly. Like,
That's
I
what
really
my
think that's a
thoughts were.
collector's edition because I like, and you brought it up when we were talking about this in the podcast chat that like, yeah, they wouldn't be stupid enough to do that, but like they just sold a fucking 13-year-old game for $50.
That's what I was
Right.
saying. Yeah.
Like,
So, like, I wouldn't put it
100%.
past
So
them.
I understand where you're coming from
Right.
with that. But look at the amount of bullshit look at the amount of like kickback that they got from
Trust
selling
me,
a
yeah.
13-year-old game for $50. I don't know.
I
Like,
said that as a joke, but the
Yeah.
fact is that wasn't a joke. That they did do that.
no, yeah.
You know,
Well,
100%,
the
yeah.
thing that's saying the thing that is being said, let me bring it down here,
I also don't
is
know where
being
this
rumored.
came from.
is that they are saying that there could be special versions of GTA 6 that cost 150 or more. So like
I can understand.
there
that,
is
yeah.
there is a good again, this is a rumor. Nothing is
Yeah, I also
100%.
don't know if did it come out anywhere. Like, was this data mined, like leaked? Like, I don't know where this rumor even started.
So I'm reading
think
through
it's said
I'm reading through
anywhere.
the article now. Let's see. It remains to be seen. Grand Theft Auto fans will pay. Will get a new rumor suggests that they would be paying around 150 for the new game. The rumor stems from a report by Niche Gamer, which also says that Grand Theft Auto 6 budget is somewhere between one. So this person, Niche Gamer, whoever this is the one that leaked it. Or has started the kind of rumor. It's also said that Joe Rogan's going to be in the fucking game. If that makes you want
radio.
makes you want
I mean, I'll
to.
play it.
Well, I honestly think that they came to us about having our podcast on the
Yeah.
radio, but you know they didn't
We-
put the
we
figures
threw it-
up. Right?
We threw it over to our buddy Joe Rogan because we know he's struggling. You know,
Yeah.
we're good.
So,
This is
allegedly.
also coming off of the back that
Please don't sue us, Joe Rogan. Please.
Supposedly the director, I just want to make sure I'm saying this right. Who is it? Basically, it was one of the game devs or director said that it is supposed to release in October. It's the CEO, Take-Two CEO, said that it's supposed to release in October of 2024. And that we're supposed to get
That
I
ain't
don't
happening.
believe that for
Yeah, that ain't happening at
second.
all.
Dude. Yeah.
a release date of 2023. Well, this is so supposedly he was some
No, I mean he could say that, but it's gonna get delayed.
oh, you're saying that okay. I thought you were saying that it's not going to be the date. But you're saying it'll
No,
be the
yeah.
date but just get delayed.
yeah.
Like any other game that's released in the last 4 years, they always get delayed,
So
man, at least 3 times.
Let's go back to this. Let's because this brings up a very interesting topic, right? Because we've talked like games as a price and what their cost is. You know, we've fucking beat up Sony for raising the price to $70, and then the other and you know everybody else is kind of falling in line. Do you think there is any way for a game to launch at this price point? And if not, you know, and let's say this is true, why do you think that they're releasing it at this, like at $150?
Not unless the game takes me out to a 5-star dinner
Yeah.
and dines me, man. Like, dude, the audacity that a developer would have to release a game at that price, that game would have to be perfect, and there is no perfect game. Like there is never going to be a
Not these
perfect
days.
game. No, I think we're backtracking on games of releases. You know, like we just said it with Starfield.
It started with the early access shit, man. Like we
Yeah,
are literally
exactly.
paying
It was
to
the early
be
access
testers.
to
you know?
testers. Yeah, the QA.
Yeah.
Dude, so I
don't know.
think it is. And
I think-
of course. What? Go ahead.
Go ahead and finish up what you're saying.
I was just saying it's still a wild rumor, but I would just, if this does come to fruition, like the audacity that they would have to release a base game at $150 is just beyond me. Like, there's nothing, no game that is worth that amount of money, stock, right? Base.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The only thing I was going to put out there is like, granted, I understand where it could be true that it's I don't let's backtrack. I don't personally feel like it's the base game, right? I'm still under the assumption that this is a specialty, like this is a special item. You're getting some kind of like either like GTA bucks, or you're getting some kind of like special order edition like car or collector's skin edition or collector's edition shit. Yeah, I personally feel that that's what this is going to be. If it does come out that this is the base game, this will be the most egregious hike in gaming history for a game price ever.
Yeah.
It just makes me nervous though, hearing this rumor, just because if that does come out and GTA is so beloved and you know how
buy it.
much fans have been craving for GTA 6 for so many years. You know, it's been pretty much not it's been the new Elden Ring, you know, of just like the time span of hype. You know,
you're not wrong.
No, yeah. Like, and so
Elden Ring 2 is going to be $180. Got it. All right, cool.
That's my fear, is if something like this happens, what are other developers going to think when people do buy this, right?
I don't see it working. I don't
either.
Yeah,
I know there's going to be whales out there that'll buy it no matter what, but I don't think it will be successful at that price point, especially considering what Rockstar's been doing with like their $50 ports and stuff like that. I don't know if that sold particularly well, but still, that's bullshit.
It's just the fact that, you know, 10 years, 15 years from now, we might just be at that price point though, just from inflation. We've gone up to 70.
50.
2
like,
years from now,
it might be like, I was gonna say it might be 2 years from now, bro.
5 years from now, it'll be 90, and we'll be there eventually. Yeah, maybe by the time GTA 6 does release, maybe it will be 150. Who knows?
We're going into the world of Ready Player One, where next thing you know, you're gonna be paying $150, and your entire screen's gonna be full of fucking ads, man.
Yeah.
Pay another 150 to get rid of the ads. There you go.
This just gives me another reason not to respect Rockstar Games. I don't know if you guys have seen recently also, but I watched a video earlier today where they have actually been selling cracked versions of their games that have like anti-cheat piracy measures like active on them, so you can't actually finish the game.
What?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, they've been selling actual there's actual like. So they were doing like the
For
kind of
what
creative
reason?
anti-piracy. I don't know if they're just idiots or what, but there was anti-piracy measures that were active in the code. So if you pirated the game, these measures would activate. But if you're buying this game 100% legitimately, some of these codes were
still
active. Yeah, like I know
were cracked, and they must have accidentally sold the cracked codes.
Yeah, they accidentally sold the cracked codes of the game. Like one of the anti-cheat measures was a massive memory leak that after like 3 minutes would cause your game to crash. Another one was if you picked up a health pack, it would cause your game to crash. Like that kind of stuff.
That's how they're gonna do it. So they're gonna sell the busted bullshit version for 60 or 70 and sell the the version that fixes
the
it
actual
for
version.
Yeah.
Man, that's
where we're going. You're like, oh my god. So basically,
it was specifically Manhunt was the game they were accidentally selling cracked. Well, not accidentally. I don't put anything.
I thought you were talking about GTA.
Dude, Manhunt.
GTA versions as well. There are these exploit like these anti-cheat exploits in them. I don't know if it's confirmed that those have been sold as well, but the one that I saw specifically was copies of Manhunt being sold legitimately with the anti-cheat measures cracked open.
Do you think that we'll ever see GTA 6 on a Switch?
Probably.
Maybe a Switch 2.
Oh, that's interesting that you bring up Switch 2 because thank you for the easy segue there. The
Switch 2 bought his kids.
No, right? They paid the bill. Supposedly, it was revealed at Gamescom that's where it was behind closed doors. The Switch 2 was basically behind closed doors, shown to some people, and obviously someone leaked it. Like shocker, but basically according to the recent leak, the next Nintendo console, which is going to be called the Switch 2, or no, whether it's called Switch 2, I'm pretty sure it'll probably be called the Switch 2,
It'll
or
probably-
Switch
yeah, I don't
Duo, or
doubt it,
something
or-
like that, or Switch U, whatever.
Switches.
It's supposed to apparently have backwards compatibility. It is going to use a new cartridge.
yeah.
And have some kind of new camera feature, whether it be AR or
That's weird.
Probably AR.
whatnot.
That
I
that
mean,
would
could-
make
The
honestly,
Nintendo does
that
a
would
lot
make
with
sense.
AR, Yeah.
Well, that's what I was about to say. That would make sense because Nintendo actually just came out and said that they're going back into the virtual reality realm as well. They haven't touched virtual reality for like 34 years
Well,
or
there
some shit
was,
like that.
what was the the
Mario Kart.
no
Was that-
the
no, that
VR. Oh my
wasn't-
god, what did they have? It was the red thing.
Cardboard boxes.
The cardboard. That,
Well-
yeah, I know what you're talking about,
No,
right?
no. This was like a Virtual Boy is what it was called, and it was a red
Oh.
console that had these legs, and you like put it to your face, and it had all these red lines. And the reason they stopped selling it was because if you played it for too long, it would permanently damage your eyes, and you would see like red lines, or some shit.
That's crazy.
It's wild, but that was that was the thing into the VR. I mean, AR does,
Yeah.
AR makes sense because they did do like the Mario
Well,
Kart
you got-
thing where you built your
Yeah.
You also
track.
got
that's
you
what
also
I
got
was-
AR for like Pokemon and shit too.
Yeah.
So with Pokemon
I can see
Go,
them going
so.
into that definitely with a Switch. I actually, that's a really good idea for a Switch.
Yep. So I mean, we're still gonna have to wait until 2024. There is supposedly they're going to say that they said that due to the leak, Nintendo is supposed to launch or announce something before the end of the year about this game, about the system, and that what's crazy here is that it's power wise. If you read right here, it's saying that it will actually be able to run something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, like the PS5. Which that's always been a big contention point.
No,
for,
it doesn't say that it was able to run something like Final Fantasy VII Remake. It says the Switch was able to run Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's what I said. I said that. The Switch
That's
2 was
no,
able
you
to
said
run.
like you said
Well,
you said
he-
like
he-
Final Fantasy
yeah.
VII Remake.
You did, but it's okay.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Do you believe that?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
don't
I
know.
think I think that
No,
I don't believe that.
I do.
they're
because-
not going to be able to put that amount of power in that small.
What is their
package.
definition of run? I
Unless-
can run anything on a
Unless
Game
they
Boy.
are going into the direction where the docking station has like an additional like GPU processor on it, I do not see them. Or they have it set up so that the docking station itself is the console, and then it just streams the game to the handheld device.
It's very possible. Yeah.
So they're gonna go to
Yeah.
the PS5
the
portal-
portal
the
route.
portal
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck route. I don't
Only
know. I
it'd
mean,
be shipped with the console instead of being an accessory.
I think that it could
Yeah.
be possibly done. I mean, if you think about this, so if the console launches next year, right? Next year, we're also supposed to be getting the rumored PS5 Pro, which would be the half step. I mean, Nintendo
Right.
is always behind the curve of the current gen console, so that would be the current gen now. I mean,
We can't forget to also Call of Duty is supposed to be coming to Nintendo, so maybe this was
Yeah,
their
but-
plans.
That would be jumping from 720p to
Oh, I know.
like 1440p and 4K. Like
It
I
ain't
don't
gonna be
see them
pretty.
doing that level of a fidelity jump.
I don't know.
That's
Like,
that's what I was
in
going
one
to point out.
console
Is like
generation.
I just-
that's what I was going to point out. Is like we're talking like Final Fantasy VII Remake in its full quality, right? Like we
That's what
already
I'm saying.
know
What
that
is their
the ports
definition of
ports to
run it,
Nintendo,
right?
yeah, ports to Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch right now don't look great. Like
No, the fidelity is not
the
there.
Witcher
I mean,
the Witcher 3 port is not great.
Look at what so if I mean, yes, if we're talking ports, but I think that if we're talking a company working very closely with Nintendo to be able to make it. I mean, if you look at something like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and some of the other games that have been put out on the Switch, they do. I mean, even currently, they still look beautiful. Like the game still looks extremely well.
But
Like, I
those are
understand it's a first party.
Nintendo made.
I know that I'm saying that they're first party, but I'm saying if Square or these other companies are working very closely hand in hand with them to make sure that these games run well, I don't think it's impossible to say that this is it's not doable.
I'm sorry,
Unless they
I
just
have
pass
to-
it down to a porting developer.
I have to let my inner Nintendo fanboy out. How dare you say anything bad about the Nintendo Switch? The Nintendo Switch is an amazing console, and I'm not talking to you. Not talking to you.
Well, sorry. I innately, when anybody thinks that there's some contention, just automatically think that it's me.
I if the Switch 2 does have the power to run things on like a PS3 current level, then yes, I could see third-party developers doing that. As of right now, that is not something that it would run third-party developers into the issue that they're having with the Xbox Series S, where an underpowered console is holding back the potential of new games coming out.
Well, and that could be, I mean, that could be Nintendo looking at the X or the S and saying like, hey, look, like this is a problem. Like, and if, especially now, like, I know that it's crazy to think that Call of Duty would push this, but you know, Nintendo's never really had the ability, aside from a long time ago, to have Call of Duty. If Microsoft's going, hey, you can have Call of Duty, but you need to have a system that's going to run it. Right. But let's, okay, I'm talking about real Call of Duty. Let's not let, but like you know, you can have this.
It's real.
Shut up, Scruffy. Anyway,
it had Black Ops on the Wii, man.
You know, Nintendo really could be like, hey, like, you know, we need to make a powerful, you know, a really powerful system. I mean, it's known that Nintendo systems are underpowered. Maybe this is the point where Nintendo goes, okay, like we have the Steam Deck. That's a competitor now. We have whatever this Lenovo system is. That's a competitor now, right?
Yeah, the ROG or whatever.
Asus ROG. You know, that I'm going to say that's out there. I'm not going to say it's a competitor. You know, it's so I think that they're seeing like, oh shit. And honestly, even this like PSP or PlayStation Portable handheld, you know, garbage
streaming device,
whatever, like they're still seeing that as being that's competition, because it's not too long before Sony goes, okay, cool. You know what? This was a hot piece of trash, but let's actually make a portable device. So maybe Nintendo really is going, hey, we need to step it up.
Yeah, I hope so.
I do too. Yeah.
Competition breeds success. So
getting my hands my hands on a Switch has opened me up to like Nintendo games in general.
Yeah, like, I mean, could you imagine?
I mean, it's like I'm still quenched pretty good, you know, but it's.
But could you imagine like a Pokemon or a Zelda or a
Prairie
first-party
Dog, you know,
game
that's about it.
on a system that can legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? Like, you know, again, these guys are over here talking about poop. So. Could you?
Well, you were talking about pee earlier, so.
Could you imagine?
I have 1 and 2.
Oh my God. Anybody else want to, I'm going to start one more time. Somebody else want to interrupt me. Can you imagine?
And some of his kids.
Nintendo with the ability or the power of PlayStation 5 to put out first party games, like what it would look like. It would be
dope,
insane.
yeah.
It'd be insane.
It would be really good. And it's
Yeah.
something that honestly, that's literally the only negative that I can talk about Nintendo with their first party titles is it doesn't live up to modern tech standards. And that's a nitpick. That is a nitpick.
It's a fair nitpick.
It's always been with Nintendo though. Like they've never been caught up with the current day standards pretty much. So it is sad. That's been one of my biggest complaints.
They're complacent in their own little corner though.
I mean they're happy where they're at.
I think they might find this might be them finally realizing like you said.
But Sin brings up a good point. Like you're looking at like the Steam Deck, the ROG, whatever you want to call it, the Legion 2 or the Legion Pro or whatever it is, the Legion Go, and now you know the PlayStation Portal, right? Like it's only a matter of time before like they get completely ousted out of like the portable.
I mean,
the portable systems,
even
you know?
phones. Like look at Genshin Impact, stuff like that. Phones are getting to that point, you know.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
It's another question with this is if this console is powerful enough, what do you like? What's the reasonable price point for? Because that's always been a big positive for the Switch. Is it's always been the most affordable console.
They had multiple versions, like the Lite was
the Lite and the OLED, and they've all been like cheaper than what the Xbox.
I think they would
Xbox
have to
SRX
honestly.
or the
I think they would
5
have to
are.
honestly stick around that same like $200-300 price range, honestly, because they'd have to compete with the Steam Deck, right? Like you'd have to compete. That's their direct.
I mean, top end
right
Steam Deck is 500.
So. 500,
but the top end
is 3.
Top end Steam Deck though, I think the biggest thing you're paying for is the SSD and the screen, right? Like
the
that's
screen,
right.
The SSD and the
Right.
screen, and
I'd say
don't they have?
is a fair price point.
There's no
for-
way.
if it's touted, if it's going to be running
Four-
like they say it
there's-
is, I don't
there's
know.
no
maybe
way.
Four if they have multiple, like if they have like the
I mean, the Switch OLED
Switch
right now is
Lite
350,
and the Switch,
so-
yeah.
That's what I'm
Really?
saying.
thought
I
the
don't think
Switch, I thought it was 4.
I don't think they can go to. That's I don't think they can do 4. I think they could stay within the 3 to 350 range and be
And just
fine.
say
If they go 4, they have to bundle with the game. Like I think if they bundle with like a Mario or
I think they'll
whatever
do it
else, like,
already. Yeah, they'll do it automatically. They'll bundle
that.
with like a Zelda game or something, you know.
or
Yeah.
maybe they
Yeah.
do 4 with like the Nintendo Pass or whatever else, like online service. It's like 20. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
It's something to think about, and I would like to see Nintendo pushing into that market, but I also like they need to stick to their niche, because I don't think, given how they've done their consoles right now, that they have the ground to be able to compete in the Xbox PlayStation market. They have to stay like that, like unique aspect of it. I mean, their first party games will carry them heavy, but I have concerns that a more expensive console in that line would be a detriment to the company overall.
Well, I agree. I don't think they should step outside of the world that they know. So, well, moving on to worlds that at least I know. Diablo 4, I'm excited about this. Is that they
Get it outta
Rod
here.
Ferguson confirmed that there will be annual releases of expansions for this
Paid
now.
expansions.
Paid expansions.
Yes,
Paid
they're paid. They're,
expansions.
they're paid. Yeah, it's. I mean, I hold on. Let me verify. Live service on supporting the action RPG.
Big-
I'm sure it's
big
paid.
paid.
Yeah, I'm sure it's paid. No, I
It
would.
is.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's paid. That's fine. I'm okay with the paid expansion.
Fix the fucking game before you try to jilt more money out of me. Fuck.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree, but at the same time, I also understand that they've got to at least be be making content like for it. So I would say if we get an expansion within the first, like, I would say quarter to or 2 quarters of next year, I will be upset. Like, I want at least a year plus before I get an expansion, a paid expansion. So, on this, but I'm still excited about it. I mean, I'm anytime I get, like, my game continues to get developed for, I'm going to be happy. So I know you guys, have your points of contention.
I mean,
I'm excited for you.
yeah, I'm excited for you as well. I just wish that their priorities weren't into milking the dwindling
Well,
audience
he
that they
did-
have.
I mean, he didn't say that there's not teams working on this stuff. Like, trust me, I firmly
Well,
believe.
considering that
that-
a bug that's been in the game since launch is not going to be fixed until another month and a half, that they've
Don't
known
dis-
about since pre-release.
Don't disagree. I don't disagree with you and say that that is bullshit. I am fully okay with knocking them. I'm just saying that I am, like, I don't think that they're saying we're not fixing anything and we're not fixing stuff and we're only going to work on this, because I do firmly believe that this strategy is also them saying, like, we have to get our shit together before PoE 2 happens, because if we don't and there's not enough content and a lot of stuff, we're going to get crushed. Like, we're going to get completely destroyed.
I think they're still gonna get crushed and destroyed personally. But
Well,
that's just
I mean,
me.
PoE 2 is going to be a massive monster of a game anyway. So, but I'm just saying, I'm happy about this. Like, I'm very excited.
I'm also curious to see like what they deem as paid expansions and what they deem as free content updates, right? Like,
Yeah.
is the paid expansion going to be literally like the Necromancer from Diablo 3, where it's literally just a class and a
Just poured it into
Borderline.
the game.
borderline bullshit like hour long section of content, that they're
Yeah,
going
They've
to charge
done
you
this in the
$30 for?
past.
Yeah.
With D4
They've had-
or D3. Sorry, have
they
they done
had-
any paid expansions?
They just had the one. They had the
D3 had the Necromancer
Necromancer,
expansion,
yeah,
which
the
again
Reaper of
was
Souls.
just a player character class and a bullshit storyline essentially.
Yeah. I will say, like, if they come out and it's just of that level and it's basically not something that could have just been a update, a free
It
update.
says big.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's
What is big?
right,
paid
that's the question.
expansion?
Big
what
means
is-
it's going to be a $60 expansion. Big as in the dollars.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean,
right?
It's going to be
Could
big.
be.
they would have to do something along the lines of, like, what don't hate me when I say this, but like Destiny, it's got to be something extremely large, for this. So,
Yeah.
you know, anyway, I'm just
I
saying.
don't think it will be though. I honestly don't
I
think it
don't-
will be.
I don't
If
have
they're
faith
wanting
that-
it to be quarterly, if they're wanting it to be quarterly like that, and they want to basically come out with a new expansion every year, I guarantee you what it's going to be is like an hour or two long expansion
So
story
if they
and
did
maybe a
if
character.
they did an hour or two long expansion story and they charged $20 for it,
I wouldn't buy it. Like $20 for like
That's-
I was pissed that they charged me $30 for the fucking Necromancer and
That's
a
like a-
bullshit hour long story. That was
maybe
ridiculous.
Yeah.
maybe a $10 price point.
I also think it's still like, say what you want. I am happy for you that your game is going to have content coming out and they've confirmed it, but it's still way too early and still way too negative of a game experience right now to be bragging that there's going to be like paid content coming out eventually.
Oh,
You haven't-
granted, I also
you haven't given me justification for my initial purchase,
Grant-
let alone purchasing more.
granted also the argument of like they have to continue pushing out content. Like they can't just like full stop on development and just
Oh, then
work
make
on
your
nothing
seasons
but
better
bugs.
because your seasons.
But
are,
that's what I'm saying. Is like they can't just full stop on content, so they have to continuously push out seasons. But with their current season progress and how they've already shown what their seasons are going to be, if their seasons continue to be what this last season was, that's not going to be enough content to keep people going.
Well,
right?
I don't think
you're
that
going to
we're
have
gonna-
issues of.
I don't think we're going to get into actual like what the actual season content is going to be until past season
Like
3.
4 or 5.
Yeah, I would say we get past season 3 because all of this stuff right
because
now,
their current seasons
is-
are already done. They're developed already. Like
right, these are just cutting room floor. And again, I don't want
This
anybody
is-
to think that I'm defending any of this. I'm just saying like I like the game. I enjoy the game. My viewers and people that have come on my stream can know that like I've stopped playing Diablo currently because I don't have anything to go do. Like I've done
Yeah.
that's
that's the worst part of that's the
kind
worst
of
part
it,
about
so-
like Diablo is just like they have to continue pushing forward that content or else it just their entire community comes to a standstill at a certain point.
Seems like they're already behind agenda on that.
pretty much. Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
Well, this is something else that's probably going to cause more problems with games either falling behind or whatnot. Is that supposedly the SAG AFTR strike? So writers,
I don't know.
the SAG. It's basically the writer's strike. If you guys are unfamiliar with this,
Yeah.
it's the writer's
forgot
strike
I
that's
posted
going on
this.
in Hollywood. Is looking to head toward game companies like Insomniac, Disney, WB, Epic Games, Activision, EA. It's not
Good.
it's not official yet that they have actually moved into striking, but it is put up before the union board.
It's
or
been
later,
approved that
whatever.
they can if they
Yeah.
want to.
Right.
I also heard a rumor that the voice actors SAG or whatever it's called. I don't know if it's called SAG or not, but the voice actors basically
Union.
union is also joining with the SAG after union as
Good.
well.
A lot
So-
are. Yeah, a lot are.
Yeah.
I
I
am.
mean, yeah.
I cannot be happier about this turn of events. Even if it delays like video games, it delays movies. Like this is good. This is that good shit that makes my heart happy.
Well, the
I
problem
will not
is,
be a selfish dude on this one.
you're
earn
you're
your
very
fucking.
you're very small in that category because a lot of people are very like if you look at the comments that are below this, it's everybody going, if I swear to God, if they delay Spider-Man 2, I swear to God, if this means that I'm
Well,
not
You
going to
just
get
know
that's
because of
MW3. Like,
That's
how
because-
we have been
that's because
treated as
people- yeah.
gamers.
So not even just gamers. That's because people in general, when they virtue signal when it comes to like stuff that's not going to affect them, right? But as soon
Yeah.
as stuff starts affecting them,
Affecting their
suddenly it's like,
territory,
whoa,
yeah.
hey, hold on a second, we can't have that, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
the only thing that I will say, and this is something that like our chat is pointing out too, is that having worked for a unionized company before, like for it to work properly, and this is an issue that the SAG has been dealing with within Hollywood and stuff like that. Like I am not any way, shape, or form condoning how they are treated, paid, or done, but there has to be flexibility on both. And SAG as a whole have been very, very rigid. Like they are known for
Yeah.
being like, I will not budge, I will not move, I will not give an inch. And in negotiations, you gotta be willing to bend a little bit. Like there's gotta be some give and take here.
Yeah.
you know,
With this
it.
particular issue, though, I've seen the back and forth, and it hasn't been SAG that's been non-compliant with like moving the goalpost. It's been the other side so far.
Oh no, you're talking
Whether
about on
that
the Hollywood
continues,
side.
but
Because
yeah, on the
yeah,
Oh,
Hollywood
in the
side.
Hollywood, yeah, no,
they're-
Hollywood side is terrible.
they
right
don't
now.
want to budge, yeah, at all.
Yeah,
Well, guess-
Hollywood is
'cause
not moving.
they've-
SAG has been like trying to get them to come to the negotiating table, and they will not. Or if they do, they don't move from what the prior
Well,
contract
I
was.
I can tell you right now, there's going to be a big kicker, and we're gonna see it. Right, is AI. AI is going to play. It's already playing a huge thing when it comes to art.
it's been shut down federally.
If you don't think that there's not somebody slick, fucking greasing wheels in Hollywood or in the U.S. government,
It's been shut down federally already.
I-
Like unless they go back and change it again. Like there's been like
you don't think that they will? You don't think that Hollywood or money won't do that? Like,
I mean, it hasn't so far. Like Hollywood was the one wanting to be able to use AI, and federal government told them no. That
yeah,
is
give it 2 years, give it 2 to 3 years. Don't worry. Like it'll. I'm telling you, man, that kind of stuff will easily get overturned. The government spaces, especially if we're talking about the government space, is fucking shady as shit. Like, so I foresee.
way to
I'm
be
just,
a pessimist, bud.
I'm just saying that the if Hollywood's not willing to budge, right? Then and they were using AI. Yes, it got shut down federally, but if they're going and they'll go and they'll pay off whoever they need to pay off or do whatever they say. Like if they're not getting their way, they're gonna find another route. Like that's all I'm saying. Like I don't know. I've seen these union arguments go before, and I'm all for like that SAG and they need, these writers unions and voice actors and things like that need to be treated fairly and things of that nature. But I'm just telling you that 9 times out of 10, man, the company will get more than what they want, right? And the union will usually fold in some way, shape, or form. So just saying.
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah,
We shall
so
see.
moving on to our quick hits and wrapping up the show, a couple things that we do want to talk about, or at least mention, maybe not go deep dive into. Final Fantasy 16 is getting 2 premium expansions along with a PC port that was confirmed by Yoshi P. So I know that at least one person on this show is extremely happy about it. Mr.
I'm not happy
Enigma.
about it because it's just going to be a fucking Epic exclusive bullshit, probably.
Maybe not. And then also too, we've got big. If you guys are Dragon's Dogma fans, there is some big
Dragon
franchise.
D's nuts. Sorry, I had to. I had to.
Okay. Well, if you're Dragon Dogmas fans, not D's Nuts fans, you might want to queue up on September 21st because there's gonna be some big news that's gonna drop.
I'm actually really excited for this.
With most likely Dragon Dogma 2 stuff.
Yep.
Minecraft,
Nice.
we talked about the Xbox Series S. Minecraft, if you are fans of that, you are not getting an update for Xbox Series X or S as of yet. At least the new stuff that they showed and talked about, they squelched any kind of rumors that it was going to be getting an upres for the Xbox Series X or S, which is obviously really weird. As to why they're not
Very
doing any of
weird.
that. And then last but not least, Baldur's Gate 3, it's all over the news. It's probably going to end up winning Game of the Year. It just
Oh, yeah,
launched
100%.
on PlayStation 5, and they are in fact working on crossplay. Crossplay is coming to Baldur's
Nice.
Gate 3.
It's gonna be
here-
huge,
here
honestly.
I'm
soon,
I'm
so-
Especially
telling you, man.
With it coming out to Xbox.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Yeah,
Xbox
I'm
Evolution,
telling you, man. I think
crossplay. I think they also have confirmed at some point that there will be an expansion, at least one expansion to the game.
one expansion, only one.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a feeling they're going to do an Avernus expansion. We're going to go straight to hell. That's just me. But
Well,
Maybe. Yeah.
if you want,
I'm telling you, man. I'm looking forward to it just because I think I've said from the start when Baldur's Gate dropped, I think that this was going to be Game of the Year, and just seeing the
Oh,
amount
yeah.
of people that are playing it. I mean, we just talked about it today, right? Like they're in the face of Starfield releasing. Granted, it has nothing to do with it. Starfield is a completely different game. In the face, though, of Starfield releasing, that game is still doing better than Starfield
Right.
That's a
in
phenomenal game.
players on Steam. On Steam alone,
Yeah.
It's
So-
a phenomenal game. We need to
Yeah.
get back to
Yeah.
playing it. We need to set
We
up
do,
our
we
days to,
do.
to play.
We were
Yes.
me and Scruffy were talking about in his chat last night. I'm like, bro, we're never gonna finish that game, bro.
I want to play it. I want to play it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, episode 96 is done. That's a wrap.
I have one more thing.
Oh, no.
It's just a little tiddly biddly that you glossed over.
Ooh,
Final
a
Fantasy
little biddly
16, along with the PC port that they confirmed is coming out, they also confirmed that there are going to be 2 story expansions.
I said that.
Nice.
Oh, did you? I
Yeah.
must have missed
Yeah, he
it.
did. Yeah.
Well, my ears shut the fuck off then.
Yeah,
My bad.
Hey,
yeah.
yeah. I would say somebody in here was excited for it.
I
and Bill did not catch that.
I did my job. I was a good reporter. I did my. Okay. Well,
My bad. My bad. I'm the
excuse the
asshole.
fuck out of me. Okay.
Am I the asshole?
Oh, on that one you are, sir. Well, now that I have defended myself, episode 96 is now officially done. Let's go around the horn real quick and just kind of let everybody know what we are playing and where they can find us. We'll start with the asshole in the room. Bill, what was just kidding, bud. Where what are you gonna be doing the rest of this weekend into next week, and where can we find you?
Doing Armored Core. I
Sucked
am
your life
addicted
away,
to I'm addicted to mecha games, and I've been playing a lot of that. I've been doing S+ or S rank missions. I've been getting that in my off stream time. I've been playing the story on mainstream, S rank and off stream, and I've actually been posting up guides on S ranking these missions and strategies you
Nice.
take into it. So if you're into Armored Core stuff, I'm pretty into it right now. So that is where I'm at for the time being. Lies of P coming out soon, and then Lords of the Fallen after that.
There you go. Scruffy, what about you?
Well, you know it. We're gonna be diving into more Starfield. I've been enjoying it, so can expect to see more of that. Been streaming still over on Twitch and Kick. Not so much YouTube because my ISP and I cannot lower my bitrate over there. So yeah, just more Starfield. Might dabble with a little sprinkle a little Terraria from time to time too. Still been enjoying that. And hopefully Baldur's Gate if we can get
I was about to
that.
say
I
we
really-
literally
yeah.
just talked about playing Baldur's Gate. If you don't say Baldur's Gate, I'm gonna fucking slap you.
I hope
Oh
so,
my
man. I
God.
really do. Let's get that figured out.
Awesome.
Oh, and this weekend I am going to take my dad out for dinner for his birthday. So
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
birthday,
Happy
Daddy
birthday,
Scruff.
Papa Scruff.
thank you.
Papa
Let him know.
Scruff's birthday. Enigma, what about you, buddy?
Starfield. Obviously, I want to play some more of that. I say that I'm going to stream, but I'm probably not going to because
You have been.
fuck.
Yeah,
fuck
you've
it.
been
Frequently,
throwing up
though.
some streams lately.
I want to continue streaming the Gene Star window. I want to at least do my due diligence on that and get to the point that I've like recreated the Outlaw Star and like I think that at that point I can call
Do it,
it
man.
I can call that quits. So yeah, so Starfield, got Cyberpunk coming up at the end of this month
Oh,
on the
you do,
20,
yeah.
I think the 23rd. So definitely going to be checking that out. I actually might restart a campaign and go from start to finish again. So just to get caught up on that, and then obviously Baldur's Gate 3. I definitely do want to continue playing that. But I've got like 10 campaigns now. I shit you not. I've got one with you guys, one with Bill,
You got
me and
more than one
Scruffy,
with us.
one with like like 2 other people, a couple with Shao, a couple with Shao and Ataxius, everything. So I've got
I would
way
just
too many
like to
of
get
those.
out of the fucking Grove because I've never been out
Yeah.
of the Grove. For the
Please.
entire
Yeah,
time
I
I've played
would
this.
like to. I would like to get out of Act 1. That would be great. I think that I
Oh,
would call
man.
that an achievement for sure. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, we're just being the Bethesda shill that we
Yeah.
usually are. You know,
And where can we find you?
P-Hub.
on the little thing. Yeah, P Hub. Yep. Not P Hub like you would say, but like PP Hub, like Space P Hub.
There you go.
That's the new
okay.
that's the
There
new
you
one.
go.
Now, Twitch obviously, and yeah, that's about it. Twitch.tv/Enigmatical Gaming.
Speaking
nice.
of Baldur's Gate, one last thing. Baldur's Gate is now the highest rated PS5 game of all time, dethroning Elden Ring.
Oh
Wow.
shit!
Deserves it, man.
Wow.
Yep, Deserves it. I think
it
it's-
has a
yeah.
97
I
rating.
think it
Elden
deserves
Ring
it.
has a 96. So
Wow,
congrats.
man.
I honestly, I really do think it
Larian
deserves it. Like
just
Elden Ring is great, but
knocked
like
it out
I
of the field.
think that the Baldur's Gate 3 has a lot more to it than Elden Ring.
The
Personally,
Larian Studios also he came out, the CEO of that or head of that said that they're already working. Well, they're working on their next game. We'll see that when we're all 52. So
Probably. Yeah.
As for me, I'm still enjoying hardcore. Still trying to get past fucking 15. My mage died last night, so that was
yeah.
awesome.
I was gonna bring that up. We literally
Fucking-
posted a short about you being like, man, I'm gonna go for ages on this one, and then
Yeah.
literally last night when we posted
I
it, he was
commented
like,
on that,
nah.
like, wow, this didn't
He
age
died.
well.
Yeah, yep. Died at 15. Really upset about that one.
He's so young.
So aside from that, I am jumping into the better Starfield, which is No Man's Sky. Playing
It's good,
some
man.
of
Shots.
playing some of that. And yeah, there's something else that I was I mean obviously Baldur's Gate. And I'm gonna say something that none of these bastards even brought the fuck up, is that we will all most likely be jumping back into League of Legends during preseason, because that is I have heard
What
it.
is preseason?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think
could
it's in
be-
like another 6 or 7 months. Honestly, I think.
No, it's
that's-
not.
They
It's
Yeah.
just before the
yeah,
year.
it is. They literally just barely went into a new season.
No, their preseason's always at the beginning. It starts off at the year. So October,
I've
usually,
been,
October, November usually kicks off their preseason.
I've been staying quiet on that, but I've been considering it for
Oh
like
my
a
God.
month
Here we
now
go.
too.
We go. Sorry, Stevens. Sorry, Stevens.
Sorry,
Um,
Stevens.
but they and Enigma was the one that actually was like, I'm getting that itch again, who I never thought
I
would
am,
have
man.
said that, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Bill's
Yeah.
been trying to get us to play forever. He keeps kind of like nudging, and he's finally pushed.
I just get the urge every now and then just to like.
Yeah,
bro, if you
Anybody
they,
wanna
they
play
released
Okay,
they
fine.
released they released that Briar, the new jungle, and I've been watching, and I went back to watching Aoki, my the greatest sport of all time, the
Shouldn't
guy
have
that I
done it,
learned a lot
man.
of my stuff from. Yeah,
miss-
that's
I
the,
miss
it's
my
that's the worst
Echo.
part is like I watch
gotta-
one thing and then I'm like,
are we
I gotta watch more. I gotta watch more. Oh
Are we
shit, I
done-
want to play now.
are we dusting off the Zack Senna combo? The fucking
Ooh.
Maybe,
we're
man,
gonna bring
maybe.
it back anyway. So yeah, and then obviously you can find me on Kick and Twitter. So 96, it's done.
X.
If you Oh, X,
Sorry.
whatever. X, Twitter, bird shit. I don't
We
care.
have to
Whatever
change
the
our
fuck I wanna-
logos.
No.
No.
And if you have missed the show, or you want to go back and listen to any of the other podcasts or episodes, check us out. There's 95 of them out there. You can go to anchor.fm/prepatch podcast, or you can go to Spotify or Apple or any of your podcasting apps and take a look at us and head there. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. Thank you to everybody that goes in and watches our shorts and thumbs up and likes them. Make sure that you follow us on all the different platforms as well. We greatly appreciate it. It helps get us the algorithm, get us in front of the algorithm, and gets more people in here to watching the show. I saw some new people in chat, so thank you guys for there. And again, if you want to join us live, you can do that. We do it live every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and Twitch. But that's it. We'll see you next Thursday. We are out of here, guys. Bye.
Hasta
Those-
luego.
Installation